Jimmy on the pod, solo act, no quitting. Madhouse bar talk, where the drinks stay spitting. Views going wild like a monkey gone rogue, running his own lane in a circus of smoke. Guido hit the eject, dipped out the scene. Jimmy steered the chaos, kept it lean and mean. No co-pilot needed. He thrives in the clash. Controversies, the stash. Raking views with a dash. Madness on the mic, sipping truth like it's gin. Every episode's a fight. Who's the champ of the spin? Randoms on the stool, spill tales from the void. Jimmy plays the villain, but the people stay buoyed. Solo flight, no wingman, just the heat. Questions unscripted, got him squirming in the seat. Joe Rogan whispers.
All right, here we are. Special guest today, funny guy, John Armstrong.
What's up, man?
What's going on, bud?
Nothing much. Good to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, you were good. I was impressed with you. I was like, this kid's gonna go somewhere. I think, possibly.
He's going places.
I think so. I think so. I think you may. I mean, you're pretty far. I mean, how like do you do like how far away do you go now, or have you?
For comedy,
Yeah.
I think the farthest I've been is Arkansas. But
That's pretty far.
Yeah, but I'll go anywhere. One of the things about it, just with comedy, it's just the more you go and the more you network, the further out you get to go. So I'm kind of at this point in Ohio, and then Detroit, Pittsburgh, Chicago, stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Now the goal, of course, is to get out to more and do New York and of course LA and all that stuff. But once you get into that, then you gotta get into time and money.
And do you have to like almost move out that way, or
Not necessarily. I mean, a lot of comics from here. I know some that have moved to New York, a couple that moved to LA just to help. A good friend of mine, shout out Mickey Genosi, he just moved to Austin, Texas. He's from here. And so some people will make the leap, and eventually you kind of do if you want to be in proximity. But I'll never forget, I was working at a club in Cleveland, and the headliner was a New Yorker, and I was telling him I want to move to New York, and he was like, that's a good idea, and it's, the place for comedy. But he was like, I'll just give you this piece of advice. You live here in Cleveland, there's a lot of stuff within 2 to 4 hours of you, and even though it's cool to live in New York, I live in New York. That's what he's saying. He's like, I live in New York, and I'm here talking to you in Cleveland now. And next week, I'm going to be in Milwaukee. And the week after that, I'm going to be in Kansas. So pay your Cleveland rent as long as you can and just try to get out and travel. So
that makes sense.
That's what I've been trying to do, because of ultimately, even once you get to these bigger markets, which you want to do, once you get successful, you're still going to be traveling. So why trade your Cleveland rent for New York rent?
yeah, right? Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
Is Cleveland rent that low? It's not that low anymore around these parks.
No, my rent's expensive as shit, and it's kind of comparable to some of my friends who moved to Chicago, but still, all in all, you know what I mean? I mean, we're still in Ohio, so like you can still.
I think I'd just as soon be in Cleveland than Chicago, though. I think. I don't know.
Chicago's nice. I like Chicago. I wouldn't mind moving there. The thing about Chicago.
Well, I mean, for the comedy scene, I don't know that you have more comedy in Chicago than you do in Cleveland.
Yeah, you do.
Do you really?
You do. Yeah,
oh, okay. Well, see, I don't know.
Chicago's massive, dude.
No, I get it, but
Yeah.
what's the comedy scene? I've never heard of a comedy scene there. I've never heard of it.
Well, have you ever heard
do
of
Austin.
Have you ever heard of Six City?
Mm-mm.
I guess a comedy troupe out of there, but like they birthed like Bill Murray, like all of these people, like a lot of older SNL people. Like, yeah, Chicago's huge when it comes to comedy.
When SNL used to be good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's subjective. I mean, back then people thought it was, you know what I mean? I get it. I used to go back and forth with SNL because, like, my age, I'm 46. My favorite cast was like Mike Myers, Phil Hartman, Chris Rock, Adam Sandler, when all those guys.
Will Ferrell.
Yeah. Well, this is before Will Ferrell.
Yeah.
This is like early 90s, late 80s. But so I think people are partial to whatever they grew up with. You know what I mean? Cause like
maybe, possibly.
Cause even like, cause I remember when the Will Ferrell days first came around, I thought that was shit. It wasn't until hindsight looking back that I was like, oh, those are funny.
They're all so like corny and slapstickish and like there's nothing great about it.
Network TV.
Yeah, it's nothing great about any of it.
It's network TV. It's just back in the day. I was just having a conversation with somebody about this. Monoculture is gone. Back in the day, there was monoculture. There was something like we're all divided in this country, but back in the day, there were things that everybody just saw. Now with the internet and everything, everybody is siloed into their own algorithms. So you can literally live in your own bubble and have no idea what's going on outside of that. You know
it's
what I mean?
horrible. I hate it. It's not only is it's I hate it. I do, and not because of that reason. Just I'm tired of paying for streaming services. Fuck that. Dude, you know how many streaming? Like,
dude.
it's ridiculous. We used to bitch because our cable bill was $100. Now,
that's why
each service is $100.
That's why they got us. I remember unplugging from cable and like, fuck this, I'm done. I'm not doing this no more, because they were like charging me all this money. I had one box on one TV, and this is like, shit. This is like 2011. And they were charging me over $100. And I'm like, I'm barely watching this thing. This is for one TV. So I'm done. It was right before streaming started. So I just unplugged it. And then, back then, first one was like Netflix, and then it grew from there. But then, all the streaming companies, they were like, we'll just get them through and parceling all this out. So now it's like you're paying cable all over again. Because once you HBO Max, Netflix,
I think it's worse.
Disney Plus, yeah.
I bet you I got $250, maybe $300.
And the shitty part is like, don't want to watch something local or sports. It's like you got all these streaming channels, and God forbid you just want to see the Browns game, and you got to Google like, how can I even watch this?
Well, that's my son loves watching the Cavs. The Cavs are doing good. So I had to go get Fubo. Like, I don't have Fubo.
Yeah.
It's $100 a month for Fubo.
Yeah.
But that's the only way you can watch them.
I don't even know what that is.
It's just a streaming. So I think they're the only one really carrying the Cavs games.
Yeah.
That's why you can't really see them no more, the games.
My day job is bartending, and like people will come in and they'll be like, "Can you put on the game?" And I was like, "I don't even know what channel it's."
You know what though? With business, with cable, like with here, we have like Time Warner. If they have Time Warner there, I don't know if they do or not.
Our cable where I work had dropped, and they were literally doing like a streaming thing. So it was like,
that's an issue.
It was like an Amazon thing, and I'm like, I don't know how to. And that's what I mean. Like, if you want to see something local, and you're getting this streaming thing through like an Amazon, I'm like, dude, I'm sorry.
We're on Time Warner, and like I call them up, and they'll give me a channel. Like they'll tell me like, go to this channel, and that'll be where it's at. And if it wasn't for that, I don't know what. That's why I'm afraid to get rid of it, even though it's like $280 it cost me a month for the bar. Not at home, but for here.
That's some sweet change, man.
Oh, this whole place, everything since COVID, everybody's just like,
up.
Vaseline in your ass and going, oh, because of COVID, I gotta bend you over now.
Dude, you're lucky if they put the Vaseline in your ass. Like, yeah, dude, like I bartend, so I remember that. I was telling people like when COVID hit, and then like especially like certain niche stuff, bourbons or tequilas, and then they're like, oh, the supply chain is messed up, and oh my God, this bottle of Blanton's is going to cost you $150 or $200, which, as you know, like a lot of it is planned scarcity anyway. You have a low supply so you can keep the price up. So I get it. But at a certain point, it's like you're not only bending me over and fucking me, but you're fucking yourself because you've made it so exclusive and you don't have. I remember they were doing a thing like we had to buy like a case of a shitty vodka for every premium bottle of bourbon we got, just so they could move all of this other shitty inventory.
Yep.
I've sold weed before. I've sold drugs. I know how this game goes. You got a bunch of shitty product that you got to get rid of. So you're trying to get rid of that, all while still dangling the carrot of the good whiskey and tequila we want. So that just
you're not doing much for stereotypes. Is that what your job was before comedy?
Selling weed? No, just
I mean, you said it. I'm just asking.
No, I'm a weed head, man. So anyone who's ever smoked weed has always sold weed just because
to try and make to pay for their own.
It's always on you, so it's not like a Tony Montana thing. There's not like piles of it somewhere, and I'm like, all right, we got to move this. It's like, all right, somebody want an eighth so I can go buy some lunch. Like, yeah, there's no criminal enterprise. You know what I mean?
I mean, it kind of sounded like there was a criminal enterprise going on.
No,
talking about lower products and upper products, and you had a whole marketing scheme going on.
I just understand supply and demand. I was just trying to make an analogous for the listener. Just understanding the supply.
When I was young, I worked for a Subway, and it was owned by drug dealers.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Like they owned a gym and sold drugs.
Yeah. Do they own a laundromat too? That's every money laundering. We have a laundromat. We have a gym. We have a sandwich shop that makes $200 a day.
Oh, we were killing it though. We that was like the first Subway in Lorain County.
Okay.
So we'd have a line out the door.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
It was wild.
The exclusivity
but then the
of it.
FBI came in and raided them. Yeah, it was pretty wild.
It's like those mall stores that, they only get a couple people in, but they just keep. It's like, how do you?
Yeah, how do they stay open?
Yeah, they laundering money too. It's a front. It's like one of those.
Like Charlie subs are in every mall, and ain't nobody I know eating them.
I used to joke with my girl because she loves every obscure fast food. So like she eats like Arby's and like I'm like, because I used to always joke like, who the fuck eats Arby's? But she does. I'm like, you're the one keeping these people in business. Like because every time you go past, like there's no one there, but somehow there's. That was like a meme going around because Arby's bought Buffalo Wild Wings for like $2 billion or something. And somebody was like, where the fuck did they get $2 billion?
And not only that, Buffalo Wild Wings, like, isn't that done and over with?
It's very niche. It's like
it's kind of done.
Yeah, it's like one downtown, and then you'll go places. It's like a Hooters or something. Like it's always one in a corner somewhere holding it down.
It still is.
Yeah.
I never really. We have one right here. I never go to it, or I don't even know if it's there anymore.
Honestly. Oh, well, I don't either, but I'm not a big sports person either. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't like going there because you got to like order your food and then wait and go get you don't have a server.
Yeah.
Like, I want a server. I want to sit down, relax, watch a game.
Well, whatever. And on top of that, like, I mean, if you're paying that much money as far as once you get your food and your handful of like beers or whatever, it's like, well, once I rack up this $100, I might as well just buy a ticket and go to the game. Or stay at home and get as drunk as I want to and not have to worry about going back to my car or wondering if my car's there. Did it get towed? Did it get stolen?
Yeah, right.
Inquiring minds would like to know.
Yeah, BW3s is not my thing. Well, I just saw a thing too. They said it's a big, I guess it's a big thing that everybody talks about. The mattress store.
Oh, that's another money laundering one too.
I mean, they're everywhere. They brought up a good point. They go, how many Chick-fil-A's do you have in your county? And they're lined out the door. I mean, like the traffic has to stop for them to put a Chick-fil-A in. I don't know anybody needs a new mattress, and there's more Mattress Kings than there is Chick-fil-A.
Money laundering.
It's something, right? It's got to be. What the hell?
Yeah, dude. You got to make that money somewhere. Come on down and get a mattress. Come get this thing you'll buy once in your life that no one's even buying anymore. People are getting secondhand and shit like that.
Yeah, I mean, Chick-fil-A, they're going there. I mean, the average person, well, I don't like Chick-fil-A, but the average person that likes Chick-fil-A probably goes there at least maybe once a month, maybe.
Yeah, Chick-fil-A has one of those followings. Like, if people fuck with them, they really like them. I never got into Chick-fil-A. I try not to eat fast food, period. I mean, don't get me wrong. I eat shitty, but I try not to eat fast food, period. And they're so niche, and then they're all like, we're not open on Sundays. Fuck you. Like, either do it or don't. Like, what are we doing?
Got like an attitude about their religion?
It just comes across as it's like either jump into this game or don't. You know what I mean? I'm open.
Fuck you, I ain't eating your Charlie Kirk sandwich.
it's just so niche. It's like another thing like my girl loves. She loves Cane's, and I hate Cane's too. It's like one sauce, fuck you, dude.
Yeah, their sauce is good though.
One sauce,
but it's good. The one they have,
it's good, but it's one. Imagine going to a strip club and we got one good stripper. I don't care how good you look.
I mean, if it's a good one, if she looks good
every day, all day.
As long as she's not in the back room all day.
365. You come back, it's that one girl. I don't give a fuck. You name the most beautiful woman who ever lived.
I think most of these guys go to the strip club for one girl. Typically, they all got one on their plate.
You still need something in the background. You need your B-level players. It's just like anything else. You need the other stuff to prop up all that. Even if we want to go to the alcohol analogy, you can't just have your top shelf bourbons and tequilas. You got to have your back players too. And it's the same. And that's why with Cane's, I'm like, To sell chicken and not have barbecue or ranch is the most arrogant shit I've ever seen.
He said it's arrogant. How dare they?
It is. Like, get your head out of your ass. We're so, and they're not doing highbrow shit at fucking coleslaw and bread. Fuck you. What year is this?
I'm with you. I don't like it either. I don't like Chick-fil-A.
I'm leaning into it too. Don't get me wrong. You put Cane's in front of me, I'll fuck it up. I'm just not getting in the line to
I was one of those guys that when Chipotle came out, I went, what the fuck is this? Like,
dude, when Chipotle came out, everybody was like, that was like the second comment. It was like, have you been to this place? They give you these huge burritos.
I hated it. I was like, to me, like around here, Chi-Chi's had just closed. Like, that's what my idea of Mexican was.
Dude, Chi-Chi's used to be the shit.
I know. And then I want Mexican, so I'm like, oh, well, there is this Chipotle place. And I go in there and they hand me a fucking burrito and they put my rice right in the burrito. What the fuck? I want my refried beans and rice and tomatoes on the side. What the fuck is this? I was so pissed.
I call that I loved Chipotle when they opened, but I know what you mean. I call that with the beans and rice on the side, I call that like ghetto Mexican. I love ghetto Mexican.
Is that ghetto? That's how all Mexican is.
Well, that's this is in my compartmentalized brain. Don't come for me, Mexicans. I'm not trying to be shitty. I just mean like, you know, like when you go somewhere like I'm a name drop, like a Cozumel or something like that, and like by the time you're done putting the order in, they're already coming around the corner with that big greasy bag. It's like because I would literally try to order a margarita while they're making my to go.
You ain't got time for that.
Your food will come out before the margarita does, but it's that delicious side of the cold. You know, you get the pico and the sour cream and the lettuce, and then you got your hot like rice and refried beans, and then like I'd always get chimichangas or some shit like that or fajitas. But it's that versus the but Chipotle's more fast casual too. But yeah, it's kind of like I prefer ghetto Chinese food. Like, don't give me that highbrow shit. Give me like bourbon chicken or General Tso's, or
that's
just
why I like General Tso's.
Or you ever see the memes or the Instagram reels where they show like, the Chinese food's gonna be good if there's like a 7-year-old Chinese kid doing homework in the lobby. Like that's where you want to go, because the whole family owns this place. That kid's there, he's doing his homework. And
remember that? Was
that
working in Akron? Was that in Akron? Where was it? Remember they had their kid there and he like disappeared. They like killed him off or something.
Ooh, I remember that. I didn't even hear about that one. No.
Oh no, around here somewhere there was a Chinese place. You never heard about that?
No.
Yeah, the kid like disappeared. I'd have to look in the story. When I find it, I'll send it to you. When I see this, when I find it, I'll go look for it.
Wow, that's scary times. Yeah, maybe don't bring your kid.
It was their kid. Like I don't know what the hell happened. Like things went south or something, and they just hit it instead of calling an ambulance. I don't know. It was wild.
Wow,
it was really wild. But that's probably when you're going to have the best Chinese, probably.
Oh yeah, come on.
When they like serving food better than taking care of their kids.
Well, it's a family unit thing. You know what I mean? Like if you're an immigrant, you're not like, you know what I mean? Like they're all kind of move as a unit. So we're all right. We're all at the store. All right, the store's going. We're all at home. You know what I mean? Like
my wife don't do that with me. Like our son, I've got a 13-year-old. My youngest is 13.
Ooh.
And
boy or girl?
Boy.
Oh.
My other 3 are girls. I've been through all that. But she doesn't like him coming up here and spending his time here.
Why is that?
She just like, oh, you're taking away from him. He don't need to spend his whole childhood in a restaurant.
Oh, he needs kid time. Yeah,
he needs to be with his friends and the neighbor. Because I mean, I'm lucky. I live on a street. It's not the nicest street, but it's got like 20 kids on the street.
Okay, so
they play constantly football, basketball.
Well, does he like coming here, or does he feel like you're dragging him here like to do work?
No, I mean, there's times where he wants to. Like he came in and cooked with me one day. Okay. Like when I had to cook, he's like he wanted to come in and we cooked.
I'll give him some some work ethic and
a little bit. I don't know if he's got work ethic, but he's smart. He won't. I probably won't need it. He's a pretty smart kid.
Yeah.
He does really, really well.
Because he'll grow up and be the numbers guy.
Yeah, he's a crazy math. Like he's in 7th grade, but he's in 9th grade math. Like you know what I mean? He's just a smart kid.
Yeah.
But you said that you and some I saw you got your son's got autism.
Yeah. My son, he's grown, but he's 24. But he's autistic.
How does that work now? Does he still live with you then?
He stays with his mom, but he separates time between his mom, his grandma. He does a day program, and then he has a respite, which is like a lady who he stays over a day or two a week. So kind of dividing his time up. He gets to the point to where he does need supervision. He can't be like 100% by himself, but you try to make him as comfortable and as independent as possible with his skill set and his, cognitive abilities. So yeah. But you do have to, be with him. He's not like,
He'll never be able to be on his own at all.
No. Probably not. Maybe, you know what I mean? But there'll have to be a level just because he talks, but he's not really verbal. He can, don't get me wrong, he can understand you and he can talk and he can read and write and all that stuff. But just as far as like, if he was sitting here now, like in front of the microphone, put the headphones on, hey, Antonio, how you doing? He'll just kind of, hi.
Oh,
yeah.
man.
Yeah. I always tell people the best way to articulate it is kind of like dealing with somebody with a stroke. Like they know what you're saying, they're aware of everything. It's just processing it and giving it back to you in the amount of time that you want to hear it would be more frustrating for the person on the other end.
I got you.
You know what I mean? But he can read, write, he knows math and stuff. You know what I mean? Like the issue with people with autism, I always say it's not the concrete, it's the abstract. Like everything concrete they could do. That's why even if you're quote high functioning, they tend to be really good at engineering and science because all that is concrete stuff.
Yeah, we have a musician that comes in here. He's really good and he's autistic a little bit.
Yeah, very right brain. He loved drums. Like they're very right brain. Yeah. But when you get into the abstract theory of mind type shit, that's when it gets a little.
My brother-in-law, his youngest daughter, she's only like 3 right now, 4 maybe, I don't know, but she's autistic pretty severely.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty bad. She's just now starting to be able to communicate a little bit.
Well, that's the thing. When they're that young, it's even if they're high functioning, it's hard. So as long as they got it early, and she gets some ABA and other type of behavioral guidance in classes, she could, because that's the thing too. This was early 2000s when my son got diagnosed, and as the years go by, people know more about it and they know how to deal with it and how to educate. But those earlier years, it was just kind of like, you're kind of on your own. So
yeah, you see all kinds of crazy shit though. Like you see people say this is what you use. I seen the other day, like nicotine patches are good for them. Like it actually helps them, and it's like that's kind of weird, but I've seen that it does.
Well, I could see how. I saw a thing they were saying how people who smoke tend to be smarter, and it's only because not only, but one of the reasons is nicotine does it's kind of like Ritalin with people with HDA. It's just really good with helping you focus.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And nicotine is really good with that. You know what I mean? It's kind of, but it's like a lot of shit like that. It's double-edged sword. I mean, fucking coke and meth is like that too. I mean, chemically, meth is almost chemically the same as Ritalin. You know what I mean? Because it speeds you up to the point to where your brain just hyper focuses. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
But instead of digging crumbs of crack out of your carpet, you're just counting really well. So it's that type of deal. I don't know if I'm gonna give my son cigarettes. Maybe.
No, they said nicotine patch. Obviously, you wouldn't do a cigarette, but I mean, I would.
Hyperbolic.
Well, I asked him. I said, I was just curious. Like I told him, I said, well, I mean, I'm wondering. I mean, if it was my kid, I'd slap one on and see what happened. That's what I would do.
I stuck a couple gummies to him just to calm him down.
Really?
Yeah.
How did that go?
It didn't visibly do anything.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was like throwing a spitball at a freight train.
Really?
Well, I didn't want to dose the shit out of him, so I
You didn't give him a 50 milligram?
Yeah, it was a 10 milligram. As far as he knew, it was just a yawn. Like, oh, okay, I guess I'm a slightly more tired. Thanks.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I just wanted to kind of just so because his anxiety will get like.
Does his mom know you did that?
No, and she's not gonna watch this. No, me and his mom were diametrically opposed to a lot of the interventions when it came to his autism. I will also say this: I'm not here to disparage his mom. His mom is amazing. She's doing a great job raising our kids. So she's amazing. We just have different philosophical ways of looking at it. You know.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And you'll have that with parenting too. That's one of the reasons we ended up breaking up, and not for bad on her part or anything, just like that. Just, you know, in relationships, at a certain point, once the fighting stops, you just realize one person just sees the world this way and one sees it the other way, and it's not necessarily wrong. You're just butting heads, so you try to meet in the middle where you can, but you don't want to keep telling people, you know what I mean? Hey, Kane's chicken. you don't want to keep having certain arguments. It's like, all right, if that's your thing, you know what I mean?
Kane's chicken is your thing. Do it. Have at it.
I don't die on any hills. Like, I'm not going to die on any hill. If somebody, I am the first one to agree to disagree. Like, all right, that's fine. I'm not here to convert.
Yeah, right. No, I'm with you.
I'm not a Jehovah's Witness. I'm not knocking on doors. Like the philosophy of John.
I was trying to get my daughter. My daughter just had one knock on her door while she was on FaceTime with me right before you came up. She was on FaceTime with me, and someone knocked on her door. It must have been, knocked on her door, and she answers it like a crazy woman. Well, she's like a church girl. Like, she's like, you know, she's.
Well, you're young and you see the good in people. I remember that happened to me when I still stayed with my parents, but this was when I was like right before I moved out. So like I moved out late. I was like 22, but I was like probably 20 or 19, and then these people were coming to the door and they were Jehovah's Witnesses, and at the time I was staying with my parents. They had a pretty nice house, and it was in an area where it wasn't a lot of other black people. So the Jehovah's Witnesses, they were black. I was like, oh, other black people in the sticks. Hey, how are you guys doing? And so they're talking, and then we were just talking. And I'm not a religious person. I was raised religious, but I'm like agnostic now. I'm not anything now. But they were just really nice, you know what I mean? And I would just talk to them, you know, and then it would stop, and then, you know, they would come over every week or so, or a couple weeks.
They keep coming back because you talk to them.
And they would slowly kind of, you know, get into the religion more. Because I just like to talk the way we were talking and stuff. So we would talk like that, and it was slowly the religious part would get in there. And I'll never forget one time I was talking to my mom, and I was telling her, you know, these people have been coming over. They're really nice. And then I was like, I think they might be trying to convert me. And my mother was like, no. She was like, no shit. You dumbass. Like it's like, yay, you're having a connection with these people, but ultimately they're trying to save your soul, John. And I was like, well, I guess I gotta have some boundaries. You guys are cool, but I don't, you know, I think the 144,000 are already up there. I don't think they're making room for me and my sins.
I was over there to cut the grass. The guy that owned the Subway, the drug dealer.
Yeah.
So he owned the gym. So he's ripped. I mean, he looks like He-Man. I mean, he's just ripped to the gill, big, muscular guy.
Yeah.
He's in the backyard tanning or whatever, you know, in his bikinis. This is like in the 80s. You know?
Yeah.
And someone knocked on the door. I go, someone's knocking on your door. He gets up, answers the door, and it's a Jehovah's Witness, you know. Here he is in his bikini, ripped to the gill. I think he had a joint in his hand. I think,
God,
ready to fire it up.
Satan might as well answer the door.
Right. And he just looked at me. He goes, "Look, some people go to heaven, some go to hell," and he just closed the door. Oh my God, I was dying laughing.
Well, that's
crazy.
Well, that's the thing. Like I said, I forget the exact number, but Jehovah's Witnesses believe like only finite amount of people are getting in heaven. It's like 6 figures, like 100. So the joke I always had is like, if that's true, they're already up there. Like in the grand scheme of the number.
Well, no. The way religion works is that nobody goes until the reresurrection.
Okay.
So you're just in the ground until then, unless you're a martyr.
Okay.
In the Muslim belief, then you go directly to heaven.
Okay. Well, I'm saying specifically Jehovah's Witness. Mm-hmm. They believe that it's like 144,000 souls that will make it to heaven. And I was always under the belief that if that is true in the grand scheme of billions of people who have lived through time, I don't think I'm winning that lottery.
Yeah. I mean, that's all coming from their, like, whatever. They're like, whoever Dave something, whatever his name is. I don't know. There's like a guy that they are basically running off of.
Yeah. I used to joke too with that, like, because, the Jacksons, they were raised Jehovah's Witness. And I used to say, like, I think Jehovah Witnesses was just a religion made by a cheap dad, because, like, you don't celebrate holidays and you don't celebrate birthdays. And, like, that just sounds like something a cheap dad came up
I didn't
with.
even understand it. Like I worked with this guy. I'm a carpenter by trade.
Yeah.
And I was working with this guy, and I think we were at maybe Great Northern Mall there or something. We're working, and he was a Jehovah Witness or something, and Christmas was coming up or something. And I said something about, I was like, yeah, but you don't care. You guys, because he was getting ready for something. And I forget. And he couldn't, his religion didn't allow him to celebrate Christmas. And I go, well, yeah, I mean, if you don't believe in Jesus, and oh my God, he wanted to cry. That guy goes, I live my life for Jesus. I go, I didn't know. I didn't know how the religion worked.
Yeah, they believe in Jesus. They're just not down for buying gifts.
Yeah.
Or doing
he told me that they only celebrate death. That's what he told me. That's the only thing they believe in celebrating. That Jehovah
Witnesses only celebrate death?
That's the only thing they believe in celebrating. That's what he told me.
That's a bit morbid.
Well, because that's not in their eyes, because they're going to heaven or whatever. You know what I mean?
Okay, all right, I guess.
So that's why they're celebrating it.
So I get, if anything, life is like purgatory.
Sure.
This is like the way
what you got to do.
Yeah, right. And then the death is like the rebirth. All right. That's a hard sell.
My thing with religion, I don't understand where like this Dave guy or Muhammad with Muslim. Why is it that everybody since Jesus that starts to become a prophet or whatever for these religions are like, oh, and by the way, we got to have like 10 wives and we need. Like, where did this come from? I mean,
you conveniently
it's like
always
need a religion.
You conveniently always need more money and more pussy, and by the way, I can't be held to the same standards that I'm holding you to.
Yeah, I don't get that. Yeah, I don't understand that.
Yeah, that should be the litmus test for anybody who's believing in anything or trying to deify anything. It's like, all right, that sounds well and good. Can you answer me this? How much pussy do you need?
I'm with you. That's the one part where it's like, I mean, I grew up, I'm Christian. I don't go to church or nothing. I do believe in Jesus. And Jesus is real. We all know he's real, that the stories are real. The question is, do you believe if he was full of shit?
Yeah.
Or if you think he was the real deal?
Yeah.
I believe he was the real deal. I don't go to church and I don't do that. But these other prophets that come back, I go, why do they have these, like, Jesus wasn't running around with 20 wives, and I don't get it. Like, why did these prophets, like, throw that in? Oh, and this too.
Yeah. Well, that old George Carlin joke where he talks about religion, and he's like, he's all seeing, he's all knowing, he's all powerful, but he needs money. he knows everything. Not so good with money. He needs money. That was one of the first things that kind of chipped me away. Like you're making some good points.
I mean, it's a hell of a good point. Yeah, they have to fund.
But that's how, and that's another thing. Like I said, I don't die on any heels. I don't like put my agnosticness against anybody's religion. I do understand that no matter what you believe, there's a human element that comes into something, and you can't let that like muddy the waters. So even if, you know what I mean, because that's what a lot of atheists and agnostics will do, is just because, well, this person is bad and this person is bad, so your whole religion is bad. It's like, well, that's more so pointing towards just human nature in general. You can tear down any institution just because of shitty human nature got involved. You know what I mean?
Oh, it's like, for instance, I own this bar, but when you come in here, there's a chance that the cook that worked here didn't do a good job, or the server that came in didn't do a good job. Or didn't ask. I heard you got fired because you didn't ask them if they wanted dessert once.
Oh, dude, you heard that story? Yeah, dude. I had this job. I was a server at Fleming's, and we had this thing where we had to do this whole spiel, and they had a lava cake, and you had to ask about the lava cake early into their dinner because it takes so long to make.
Okay.
So there are so many steps you got to go through. And we would have this thing called secret shoppers, where the company literally hired people to go, and they wanted to make sure that their server hit all the beats. And I never forget, I got secret shopped like a couple times in a couple weeks. And both times I failed because I didn't ask them if they wanted the lava cake. And to be fair, the people who secret shopped me, they said they loved me and they had a great experience and everything was good, but I didn't do it. And the only reason I didn't ask is because early into the thing, they were talking about, they're eating dessert somewhere else. So it had already, since I didn't do this mechanical thing that the corporate structure wanted, they were like, well, get him the fuck out of here.
Wait a minute. So you're saying that the secret shopper set you up?
I mean, that's kind of their job. That's like saying
they're like saying, we had dessert already.
That's
kind of shady. That's like a cop hiding behind a tree.
I was just about to say it's like an undercover cop. It's like getting caught in that. It's like that's kind of their job. This undercover cop caught me
but isn't that called entrapment though? Like when a cop, yeah, I think that's like if they're setting you up for it.
But again, that's just how it is. I mean, let me go down I-90 the way I got here, and you know how many cops were hiding behind? That's entrapment in a way. Like, and then their argument would just be like, well, keep it under 70.
Yeah, fair, yeah, right.
And the restaurant's argument was, well, you still had to ask about the lava cake, whether it was implied they already had dessert or not. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so, right.
But saying all that to say, that became a good thing because getting fired from that job was when I started doing comedy.
That's what I heard. That's what started your. And how long ago was that?
9.5 years.
And so you decided you're going to do comedy.
I've always wanted to do it, but I never did because I was just, fucking terrified of public speaking. I don't want to eat my dick in front of a million people. Like, just bombing is the worst, dude. But then after getting fired from that job, I was already having like a midlife crisis. I'm 46, so I was 36 at the time. Like, I'm just like, all these shitty jobs. I had so many stop starts in my career. I went to community college, that didn't work out. I went to trade school, that didn't work out. Just so all this, at that point, I was like, fuck it. I'm going to try this comedy because I would rather go to my grave knowing I at least tried to do this than to have because I at that point, I had jobs where I worked with people who were miserable. I worked with people who had the job that they liked and they were still miserable. And so I was like, there's a chance I could even get a good paying job and still not like it. So I'd rather explore getting into a field that I really enjoy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
and you control your own destiny a little bit.
Yeah. And it became a thing too of where it was just very liberating just because it was like there's so much in life that you can't control. There's so much that gets thrown at you. There's so much that you're just obligated to do, to actually do something. I mean, you're a business owner. Like it's probably just the feeling, the fulfillment, and just of doing something and bringing something to fruition that you did. It's something to be said about that. You know what I mean? Even if you
This
don't.
is a bad example. Fuck this place.
Oh, stop! Don't get humble now. I run a studio inside of my bar. Like you got a Russian nesting doll of
I do this
here.
because I enjoy this. That I just
but you get
I
what
thought
I'm
it would
saying.
be way more fun.
But you get what I'm saying. You're not at somebody else's bar. This is yours. You know what I mean?
True.
It's something to be said for something that you created. You know what I mean? And that kind of helps in a way because it's if you don't work, you don't eat. Like this is going to go as far as I push it to go. And
so okay, but if you came up with it, you go, okay, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to try comedy.
Yeah.
And you decide that. How long from the moment you decided I'm going for it till you were on a stage?
Month less.
And where'd you get the content? Did you have some stuff in the chamber?
Well, one of my first jokes was about getting fired.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? And so here's what happened. I had always wanted to do comedy. It was only a few people who I had this conversation with. I have two sisters. I told one of my sisters years ago. I told her not to tell nobody. And then my cousin, he does music, and he had already been doing music, and he knew. So they knew I had this dream, but I never talked about it. I used to joke. This was like me coming out of the closet. Like, I don't know how it is to be gay, but it's the closest it was like, it was a secret that I didn't want anyone to know. Don't tell anyone because it's just going to ruin me. But it was this thing that I didn't want anybody to know, but it was always in there. So once I decided I was gonna do it, it was this phrase that I used. That phrase that they say, throwing your hat over the fence, like putting yourself in a position that you have to follow through, like you can't back out. So what happened was I would every now and then like look up places where you could do comedy, but I never found anywhere because I was like, well, outside of New York, where am I gonna go? And I never forget, I was talking to my girlfriend, and she's such a sweetheart. She helped me so much. And I'm like already giving up. Like, I want to do it, but there's nowhere to do it. And then within 60 seconds, she's on her phone and she's like, oh my God, look, there's Funny Stop Comedy Club in Cuyahoga Falls. They have an amateur contest every week. I'm signing you up. And that was it. Signed up for the amateur night at Funny Stop. And then it forced me to like write jokes. So I would sit down and try to write jokes. That, you don't know your process when you first start. You just got to try to do something. So I would literally sit at the table, I would get some coffee, I would get cue cards, and then I would just write. And then
you do your jokes for your girlfriend?
Yeah.
Did you?
I would practice on her, and then I would practice in the mirror. Like sometimes I wouldn't want anybody to be around, so I would tell her, I'm like, can you leave so I can like just talk out loud without feeling like I'm being watched or judged? And I would do that, and then and to get your timing down, you know what I mean? Like, cause that's the thing. Like when you first start, like somebody will be like, you get 5 minutes, and 5 minutes seem quick, but when you first start, 5 minutes is forever. 5 minutes is a long
If I'm being
time.
honest, there's been times where I've been in the studio and I've done some recordings and watched myself back to see what it would be like.
Yeah,
Like a comedy. Like I've done it a little bit.
Yeah, like because the replay is totally different. You sound different. Your mannerisms are different. You're catching shit and mistakes that like, oh God, I talk like that.
My biggest problem, even with the podcast, is I have brain farts. Like I don't know, just stupid words. Like it might be the color blue, but for some reason I can't come up with blue. Like that color, the one, yellow and green, but I just can't.
That happens a lot. You at a certain point you learn to kind of get into a flow state to where those will come to you. And again, it's like anything else. Like it's like bartending. I remember when I first started bartending, and when you first get slammed, when you got like 1 million tickets coming on service bar, and you got your customers that are in front of you, and then you got people coming up asking for random shit, like, can I get a Singapore sling? Do you know how to make
old fashioned? That's the one that irritates me.
Everybody drinks those now, man. But I remember, that like Sazerac, just all this shit, and then you either panic or you would go to like the paper that has all the cocktails written down, or you Google. But then after a while, you get so used to getting hit like that it becomes a background thing. One of the things that helped me with getting in that mind state is I started like running like some years ago just for exercise, but then, breath control and just getting older and not wanting your heart to fucking kick out on you. But because when I first started comedy, I would meditate. But it was so hard to meditate because it's hard to sit down and quiet your mind. It's just like it's the hardest thing to do. But I realized after a while when I would be running that I was kind of getting into a meditative state, only because meditation really is just. I remember hearing this because I would try to quiet my mind, but the more you try to quiet it, you can't. The more noise. But really, what meditation is just focusing on your breathing. And that's what you have to do if you're doing long distance running.
Right.
So I got to this point to where you're focusing on your breathing while you're running, and then you just get into this state of mind to where you can control your thoughts a little better. And then that just started translating into different parts of life. You know what I mean? So you can, and you get that on stage. Like I'll get up there and it'll be shit I want to talk about, and then I'll totally forget. But what you got to do is just not beat yourself up about it and just try to be open to it on the next one. And because that's the other thing, too. You don't want to be so stuck in trying to get this one thought that you're taking away from the actual live experience that everybody else is having. You know what I mean? Because you can want to talk about this stuff, but the audience doesn't know that. So they don't feel like they're missing out on anything. But for you, you're like, oh, it was that one thing I really wanted to say. But it's like being on a date with a woman. You know what I mean? You could be on a first date and
I don't even remember what that's like.
Pretend with me. Let's go back to the 1900s.
My wife would say, I don't even take her on a date. No, actually, we went to see you. So that was
nice.
Yeah, so.
But it's one of those things to where, like, you could be like, oh, man, I want to go to eat here, and then we'll go to this movie, then we'll go to an ice cream shop, and maybe you'll forget something. But on her end, she's just having a great time. But on your mind, you had this whole itinerary that a few things didn't go right. But she don't know. She's just having a good time. So that's how it is with the audience with a lot of this stuff, as long as they're having a good time.
That first time, did you do the imagine them in their underwear thing?
No. So
you always hear about that.
Yeah. I actually was thinking about that too, because I was like, well, what am I going to do to, one of the things that helps that a lot of people don't know and you don't realize until you get up there, not everywhere, but so many places when you're on stage and the spotlight is on you, you can't see shit. And that's what I wasn't ready for. Yeah. It's like, imagine somebody shining a flashlight in your face and them telling you to, so you have no depth perception. You can't, so it's like you're telling jokes in a void. It's the weirdest shit.
So it's like being on a podcast like I'm doing now.
Almost, but
pretty much the same thing.
But close your eyes.
No, well, I mean, I don't see the people I'm talking to, and I've got a bright light in my face.
Oh yeah, trust me.
It's the same thing.
But I just mean in a sense to where, like, not even having, like, you're literally just looking at light, so it just makes it that much weirder.
Only thing I can compare it to is this weekend we had our first band here.
Okay.
It was these ladies named Medusa. They were really good, actually. It was it was like a Halloween party we had Saturday, and when I did the costume contest, I said, "Can I borrow your mic? Take a break, and I'll do the costume contest."
Yeah.
And they said, sure, no problem. And I get up there and I went, holy shit. I mean, they had lights everywhere. I'm going, what the hell's going on?
Yeah, right. So it's exactly that. Yeah. So when you're up there, like, I bet it took a couple seconds for you to go back to the thoughts that you're, but like,
it throws you off. Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
Because, you just got all this, like, you're like, what the fuck? Because as an audience member, you don't see that. Everything just is, if you're doing it right, it's it's a dark room and an illuminated stage. But once you're on the illuminated stage, you're just like, what the fuck? Like,
that's just wild.
Yeah,
I never thought about that. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah. It throws you the fuck off. So saying all that to say, in a way, it made it easier because I couldn't even see the audience even think about them being naked.
Yeah, right.
So your interaction with them becomes the rhythm of it, your sound of your voice, the pause, and then listening for the feedback.
Yeah, that laughter.
And that's, and once you get the first laugh, that helps. Now, when the laughs don't come,
does that happen a lot?
Everybody.
Or not a lot, but I mean, does it happen?
Yeah, it happens to everybody, dude. Like everybody, it's not always going to be your night.
I wonder how you would do, like, timing wise. You know what I mean? That's the thing I worry about, like timing. Like, I see, even when I watch somebody else, I watch the timing.
Yeah.
And, and I'm like, they could have done this or that a little bit different or whatever you want to call it. Why don't you promote your shows real quick that you got coming? And I'm going to take a quick break and use the restroom.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But you're the only one on there right now. Just tell them what you got coming up.
Let's raise the devil while he goes away. As I look into my phone, thank you guys for listening to the pod, by the way. This is John Armstrong. You could find me on John Armstrong Comedian, my website, or at John Armstrong Comedy on Instagram, and I always post dates, or at least I try to post dates there. Actually, today, which is Wednesday, October 29th, I'm actually going to be pretty close to here. I am in Avon. My good friend Tom McDonald, I've done shows with him, and I got a really fun show coming up there. Let me see if I can find the exact place that this is. I don't get this wrong. Yeah, we're going to be Laugh Makers Stand-Up Showcase. I believe that's in Avon. Yeah, I'm going to be there with Cam Godfrey, Brian Sternick, and Jeremy Shear, some really funny comics. And with it being close to Halloween, you are encouraged to bring a costume. Even the comics are going to be wearing costumes. And then this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'm going to be hosting at Hilarities. And then next week, I'm going to be headlining, speaking of Funny Stop, where I started, I'm going to be headlining at Funny Stop Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So you got a handful of of good places to come and see me in the next week and a half. Yeah.
Nice.
Also, a podcast I just started with my good friend Chris Paul called the NSFW podcast, Not Safe for Work. We're just two comics in their 40s just yelling at a cloud.
I actually watched an episode of it.
Yeah, just airing out our grievances. Yeah, Chris is cool as shit. He hosts Roast Battle, and he's really been getting out there. He's been going to New York and Austin, and speaking of, yeah, he's been getting some good traction on that.
No kidding.
I'm riding his coattails a little bit.
You know, it's funny. This is the first time I've had, let me think, I've had 4 comedians in now on the podcast. You're the only one that's actually funny in studio.
Oh,
most of them are not funny in studio. They're just talking, and it's weird.
That's the thing; it doesn't translate all the time. It's like you ever see like a lot of actors that you really like, and then you'll watch them in an interview, and you're like, "Oh, you're nothing like." You're just a weirdo.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's weird like that. The compartmentalization that you have to do comedy. I mean, in a way, I'm off a lot too. Like if I'm not on stage, like the other comics tease me because I actually had them on before I got here, but I always have my earphones and I'll like go in the corner somewhere and just kind of be listening to something and be off to myself because I can't get too overstimulated before a show.
Music, podcast, or comedy?
Usually a podcast or a YouTube type of deal.
Okay.
Music, not so much because music takes me too far out. You know what I mean? And I lose concepts of time and stuff. So I need my brain to idle in a space to where I'm not consuming what's going on around me, but I am distracted enough to where I'm not trying to engage with what's going on around me. Because I do want to be in a mindset of where I can go on stage and do my jokes. Because the way I do my jokes is not necessarily verbatim. I have more of an outline. You ever watch that show, Curb Your Enthusiasm with Larry David?
A little bit, not a whole bunch.
He had, I didn't do this based on him, but I ended up kind of parallel thinking, ended up doing it in a way. He said he wouldn't write a script outright. What he would do is he would have an outline. So he'd know basically where they were going to talk about. He'd know the conclusion and the wrap up of it. And he'd know the characters that he are having. But then after that, then we got to work it out once we get there. And that's kind of how I do my jokes, to where I'll have an outline. I'll know the subjects. I'll know certain punchlines that I want to hit and how I'm going to land it. But beyond that, then you work it out up there. Because when I try to do verbatim, sometimes you'll talk yourself into a corner.
Yeah, my daughter got married like a few weeks ago. And
congratulations.
I had to write, she wanted me to write a speech. And
yeah,
it's tough to do. It's a tough thing to do, to write. I mean, it's your little girl's getting married. Your ex-wife is there. Her husband's there. Her side of the family's there. My side of the family's there. People you don't even know from the church are there. And I got to get up and do this thing. So I get up with it, and it took me forever to write it, first of all. It's just because I just didn't know what to write. But anyways, as I go out, as soon as I get up there, I start, and within a sentence, and I've got it right in front of me, I just like, okay, I'm not looking at that no more. And I already know I wrote it. So, I mean, I know what it is, and I just had to kind of go. So it wasn't verbatim what I wrote. I don't think I could ever do a verbatim. I don't think I could. I don't think it's on my set,
because you're focusing on every word so much that it loses the meaning and the flow and the cadence and all that. Yeah, and on top of that, I'm sure you felt this is like when you're up there and you got the paper. If you're looking at it, you can feel people looking at you, looking at it. So that kind of, it's like, oh, this is taken away from it. Like it's like, all right, I'd rather engage more than just keep looking down at your nose. And I think that you are going to be the best husband for my beautiful daughter. Thank you. I see my friend Tom came out. Thank you so much. Remember back when we were kids? Like if you, it just you turn into a robot.
Yeah, that's what I was afraid of. That was exactly what I was afraid of.
Yeah. It's like, all right, let's get some stream of consciousness. Let me at least engage with them how they know I am.
Yeah. Well, so who's your number one? Who's your GOAT in the
comics?
Comedy? Yeah,
it always rotates. I do more of a Mount Rushmore. I love Carlin, George Carlin. Currently, probably Bill Burr. And then, of course, I love Chris Rock. And then I love Dave Chappelle, too. But then that always rotates because it's always like Patrice O'Neal is like fucking amazing. Like, and then you got people who are, they're like Mount Olympus. They're so like Richard Pryor, Eddie Murphy. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even put them in a list just because they're so good. You know, it's like mentioning Will Chamberlain or Bill Russell or some shit.
Yeah, to me, that would be, to me, the GOAT is Eddie Murphy, period. That's the GOAT. To me.
Everybody is doing it in their own interpretation of Eddie Murphy, and Eddie Murphy was doing his interpretation of Richard Pryor. Yeah. Which ironically enough, Richard Pryor was doing his interpretation of Bill Cosby of all people, but that was the lineage of it. But yeah, those are the people. But they're so.
Bill Cosby was funny as shit.
Yeah,
he was funny as hell.
He was one of the first comics who brought.
Just because he raped women, don't mean he wasn't funny.
Well, if
he probably was funny when he was doing it.
If they
to
were
be honest,
asleep, was it rape? They were resting. It was crock pot pussy. It was just there, simmering, warm. but yeah. Separate the art from the artist. Yeah, but yeah, there's so many great comedians out there like that don't make the list necessarily, but like Patton Oswalt is amazing to me. You know what I mean? Like. So many people. I'm starting to blank out now.
Chris Rock is good. I agree with you. I seen him here at Ohio Theater.
Well, remember when I was telling you we were talking about SNL? Like that whole cast, I just love that cast. The other thing I love about Chris Rock, again, like, and this is more my age, because I remember that in the 90s, because I heard him talking about this in an interview when he got fired from SNL, and he wasn't like one of the big people on there anyway. Like if you went back then and be like, who's going to be the biggest people to blow up from this, you wouldn't have picked him out.
Right.
You know, he wasn't Eddie Murphy.
Right.
You know what I mean? But one of the things that was inspirational for him is
he was Pookie.
Well, yeah, exactly. Like, I want to be a crackhead. You're skinny and black. Want to be? Bitch, I walk 10 blocks. Want to be a crackhead in this? But no, the thing that became so inspiring with him was after he got fired from SNL. I'll never forget that Bring the Pain special when that came out. That changed comedy on so many levels, and one of the things I liked about him, even being a black comic, he talked about like social issues, he talked about politics, and he talked about relationships, but none of it came across as preachy or pretentious. It was just all matter of fact, you know what I mean? And it was just all like through. It's like a good comedian takes you on a ride, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And you're just on the ride, so you can be in it and relate to it because you're in it, or you can be on the outside looking in and it's still a fun ride. You know what I mean? And that's what makes it fun, and that's what a good comedian does. One of the first times, that bit that he had about OJ and Nicole, and he was like, I'm not saying he should have killed her, but I understand. Like, that was just so amazing to me how you can take a subject like that that's so heavy, and it's just about murder and death, and then the racial undertones of it all, and to be able to say that joke in front of men and women, black and white, and have everybody get something out of that joke that was hilarious.
Yeah.
Without purposely pandering to anybody, that's fucking brilliant.
Yeah, no, he's good. He was. Have you ever seen him live?
Yeah.
Doesn't he look like a leprechaun on stage?
I guess. I mean
what is that about? I don't get it. I seen him up there. I'm like, the first time I seen, I only seen him once, but I seen him and I'm like, he doesn't look like that. And like on every movie you ever seen, he didn't look like a leprechaun up there.
To me, he looked how he looked, I guess. But one of the things that was striking to me the first time I saw him
his
was
feet
just
look big, everything.
His voice is exactly how it sounds. You know how like you'll hear somebody on the recording and then you hear him in person.
Right.
He sounded, it was just so weird. It's like, that's exactly how he sounded.
Yeah.
Just, hey man, what's the deal with this? Like he sounded just like that. So that was what I had took from that. That, and it's just so, it's just so surreal being in front of somebody who you've only seen on a screen, and then they're right here.
Yeah, that
you know
definitely
what I mean?
is. Yeah.
Again, I don't watch a lot of sports, but I remember being young and my dad taking me to a Browns game. This one was still at Municipal Stadium, and one of the first takeaways from it, because I didn't know sports and shit like that, but one of my first takeaways is just like, and I was a kid too, but they look like gladiators because we had like good seats, like so we're down there, and then like just and I'm a kid, so like all these guys come out, they just look huge, and then they got these football uniforms on, and I wasn't prepared for how big they look. Wasn't prepared for being able to hear it as far as the hits. Just hearing all that. It was just all that was what captivated me, because when you're just watching it on TV as a kid, it's just a very passive thing. But to see this contact sport, like where people are getting fucked up on every play, and it was some gladiator shit. And on a comedic sense, that's how it was the first time I saw like Chris Rock live or Bill Burr live, just like this thing that I would casually see like on TV or the internet. But when you see it in front of you, it's like, to see it happen in real time, it's like, dude, this dude he's in the Matrix, man. This is like Neo dodging bullets. Like, you're just telling all these jokes, and you're just forging ahead and just going, and just to see somebody on like that, it was amazing to see. Like, what the fuck, dude?
You know who I like as a comedian, modern day, but I mean, he doesn't really do anything new now that I know of, but I haven't seen anything, is Daniel Tosh.
Oh yeah, he's funny as shit, dude.
He's so fucking good. Like,
he's so good.
I don't know what it is that I like about it so much, but his delivery, everything, he's just spot on. Man,
he's super good.
Yeah, it's shockingly good. Like, I didn't expect that.
Yeah. One of the things that's so good about him too is one of the things that I want to be able to emulate from his type of career. I remember a comic brought it up, is he's very successful, but he comes out, he'll do his, touring, then he'll just kind of go back, And I guess like all the comics I like, because Carlin used to do that, Chris Rock does it. They're not this omnipresent thing that just has.
Well, he probably made enough money on that Tosh .0 probably deal where he can do that now.
Well, that's the thing. That's what the comic that was pointing it out was saying, is like he made enough money to where he didn't have to be like kind of in your face, but at the same time, the type of comedy that he does too, he's not like Anthony Jeselnik, but he is in a sense to where he'll say some wild shit. But it's one of those things to where like his comedy is his thing. You know what I mean? Right. It's not like, it's not this cult of personality that you build around it. It's like his comedy is his thing. You know what I mean? And then when he's done, he's done.
Right.
And you only see him when and I think that's another thing, how we were talking about monoculture being gone and other shit. The internet has made so many people accessible to us. I think that's why you don't have stars the way you used to, just because, like, if you're seeing somebody all types of day and you know every opinion they have about everything, and you've just seen it, it just takes up, there's no mystique. There's no aura. There's no mystery to it. And, Tosh he's fucking good. He's really, really good.
I wonder when I say how you're funny in studio, like, and it's weird that like I said, you're on the 4, you're the only one that was, but it makes me wonder if you'd be good at crowd work like Rife is, like that. I wonder how good you would be.
I'm pretty good at. Have you ever been to the? Here's a plug. We were talking about it earlier. Or Hilarities in Cleveland on East 4th. They comedy club, but they do a show called Jokes on You. Have you ever?
No, I never heard of this.
Oh, dude, every last Sunday of the month, I sound like the promo because they use me on there. But every last Sunday of the month, they do, it's called Jokes on You. Shout out to Jimmy Graham and John Bruton, 2 of the best comics in Cleveland. But they host this show, and it's an all crowd work show.
Really?
And the comics, they literally have a comic go up, and you don't do any prepared material. You just riff with the audience, and then the audience can yell at you.
And you're pretty good at it, huh?
Yeah, I'm pretty good at it. Yeah.
You have fun with it?
Yeah. I think honestly that I learned how to do this, and most comics will tell you it's a defense mechanism. I'm the youngest of three. I'm the only boy. I was bullied as a child. Blah 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 blah. You find ways to get punches off of you.
So people aren't as mad at you or whatever.
And again, when you're doing it as a kid, you don't realize you're doing that. You know what I mean? You're not like strategically at home like, how can I be witty and intellectual so they won't kick my ass every day?
No, it's a panic joke at the time. Right.
Exactly. So, but through time, that and just the way I grew up in a lot of different places. So once, growing up poor, in the hood in Cleveland, you get that experience. And then I lived in Indiana in a rural area for 2 years. Then I moved back to Cleveland, and I lived in Cleveland Job Corps. And then I lived with my parents out in Portage County. So I've lived around poor people, around people with money, and like everything in between. And once you see all these different type of personalities of human being, like it kind of demystifies humans to you. So where even you could be a type of person that I've never been around, but once you talk a little bit, I know you. I've seen this person. Not maybe not in this outfit, but I've seen you before. The braggadocious guy, the shy guy, the jock, the nerd. It's only 10 or 15 personalities that gets put into every human being on earth. And after a while, even bartending helped that. Because after you deal with so many different type of people, oh, I know who you are. Oh, you're the attention girl at the bar. You're the you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that lends to you being able to relate and talk to different people, because even if they seem like they're distant or not in your wheelhouse of people who you usually deal with, let them say a few words and you're like, I know who you
start to get it. See, I have to bartend here sometimes. Not a whole bunch, but sometimes. I mean, I get call-offs, and sometimes I don't have a choice or I have to cook. But it's funny because serving, you were talking about how you get used to it.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, it was earlier in the show when you were started out. One of the funniest stories was when I first got this place.
Yeah.
And the bartender couldn't get her. She didn't have a ride or whatever it was. So my wife went to go pick her up. Meanwhile, I'm stuck. I'm here, like I'm serving. And back then I didn't have my POS system or nothing. I'm writing it down on paper.
Oh, no. Did you have the knuckle buster card thing? Like,
No. I think I had a credit card machine by then.
Okay.
I've only had the place like 8 years. So it's not been that long. But I didn't have a POS system. We would write the ticket down, give it to the cook.
Yeah.
So I'm all of a sudden now I got like, I want to say 4 tables. It felt like 20.
Yeah.
I've never served a day in my life.
Yeah, it can be overwhelming.
I'm writing them all down, taking back. My wife come in and I went, whew. My wife was a server. She knew she can serve. And then the other girl that was that scheduled server was with her too. So I just threw my hands up. I was good. Like 45 minutes goes by. And this round table with like 5 people are livid. They're like, can I just pay for my drinks and go? And I'm like, huh? And I'm looking around like, oh, fuck.
Well, you forgot to put their order in?
I wrote it down. But my wife walked in the door and I went, oh, right.
Yeah, you immediately you're like, well, that's done. Fuck this.
Now I'm actually a really good server bartender,
dude.
Today.
In the service industry, that is one of the most sinking feelings. I have had that, where you take somebody's order but you don't put it in, and then you keep looking at the table or whatever, like, what's taking the food so long? And then you go look and you're like, oh shit, I know. And when you do, your heart,
you got to feel like a piece of shit.
Oh, you guys got to eat your dick and then go to the table, and then of course blame the kitchen.
Oh yeah, always.
They burn your food. I'm so sorry. we didn't want to give that to you, so we got some fresh. Then they're like, oh my god, thank you so much. Oh, your plate fell on the ground. I'm so sorry. We weren't going to pick that up and serve it to just a little levity, and then want a round of drinks for the table. Like, kind of calm them down. Like, that's the worst feeling. But again, working in the service industry, I've known some people. I'm shouting out all these comics. Mary Santora, she's a Cleveland comic, moved to New York. Fucking amazing. She's thrown me so much work. One of the best comics coming up. But she used to work in the service industry. She was a bartender, and we used to talk about this. How like I call it spinning plates. Being able to spin so many plates at the same time. That having all these tables and all these things, it lends that to comedy when you're on stage. And thinking about the joke you're doing, the joke you're about to do. This table over here is talking, this person's heckling you, these people are laughing, these people over here aren't, and just having all that shit go on at the same time and just keeping it going. Like I said, that's why when you see like the pros, like when you go out and if you get to see a Chris Rock or a Bill Burr and you see this person just commanding this orchestra by themselves, it's like, okay,
Chris Rock was really good. That was pre-Obama when I went and seen him in Ohio Theater. So he had his joke about the president, how he'd have to run around the stage if he was a black president.
Oh, yeah,
it was pre-Obama, though.
Yeah.
It was pre-Obama. Yeah. So we were all about, it was an imagination at that point.
Yeah. I used to have a joke when I was still at Funny Stop. This was right before Trump, when Obama was still president. And I was joking about my girls. I was like, my girls have grown up in the world where the president has always been black and Cleveland wins championships. And I was like, I had to break it to them. Like, it's not usually like this. Like, you all are growing up in a weird time.
My favorite.
That was the year the Cavs had won.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that was amazing. That was amazing. Absolutely
2016.
Amazing.
That whole year, every single sports event that happened that year was. Again, I'm not a big sports person, but I think that was one of the times the Patriots won. We won. The Indians at the time had just lost to the Mets, which we lost the way that we made Golden State lose because we were up 3-1, and then they came back. But every single sports win as far as championships that year was like what the fuck?
Yeah.
Down to the college level, it was just magic pixie dust got sprinkled on the world that year. Like, what if Cleveland wins? What if the Mets win?
Everything was going great. We should have known COVID was around the corner.
Oh, yeah. Something was definitely
we had
in the
to know
water.
Someone was in the chamber. Had to have been.
You owe the gods a sacrifice.
Yeah, right? What the hell?
We got to throw 1 million people in a volcano for the shit that just happened. like this type of shit don't happen on its own.
So then you get out, you're doing your own thing. You're making a living now, I guess, I assume, or most of it. I guess you still bartend, so you have to do a little bit.
Still bartending, make some money comedy, but it's not paying all the bills. But I purposely have cut down my bartending for about 3 days, so I try to make myself eat off of comedy as much as I can. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The old throwing your hat over the fence, putting yourself in a situation to where you have to follow through. Because that's the other thing as a comic, a lot of us have in common is procrastination and laziness. It's always so there.
That's what it is.
It's so there. So you got to put yourself in situations where you make yourself follow through. You know what I mean? Yeah, because and your comedy is a very, which this is a lot of life, period. But you're only as good as your last joke. I've had one of the best pieces of advice I got when I first started was whether you do bad on a show, like if you bomb, or whether you kill and have a great show, hold on to that feeling for that night. And when you wake up the next day, let it go. Because either way, you will taint yourself. If you had a bad set and you just keep having that around you, every time you go on stage, you will go up there in a sense of like, I hope this works. But on the other end of it, if you have a great set and you kill and then you just go everywhere, just like, I'm King Dingaling and I'm about to fuck shit up. And how y'all doing? And then crickets, you know what I mean? So it helps for you to absorb and to feel how the night was and to celebrate your highs and then to commiserate with the lows. But then when it's done, it's done.
Yeah.
You can't walk around with that baggage because you'll just fuck up your outlook on everything in the future. You either think you're way better than you are, or way worse than you are.
The public is fucked up like that anyways. The public is like, that's just how they are. I mean, the public is. I mean, look. What do you mean,
like turning on you?
Well, yeah. It doesn't matter what good you're doing. It don't matter anything. They don't give a shit. They don't give a shit. Like it's like.
Speaking of being in relationships, you can pay the rent all year. You forget some flowers. You ain't shit.
Right. Yeah. That's what my wife. Her credit score went down.
Yeah.
And I pay her bills. I pay all the bills, and she has whatever credit card. I must have used one that's on her name or something. She's like, you fucked up my credit score. It's like, what? Yeah. I'm the only one paying bills in this motherfucker.
yeah, bring that up and you're the asshole. You're holding over my head. I wanted to get a job. That shitty job that wouldn't have done nothing but took you out of the house.
My wife don't want a job.
Yeah.
She wants to raise our son. She wants to be there, make sure he's good. That's how she is. She likes that. She does come here and work. So I shouldn't say but I mean, when I say I pay him, she actually helps here at the restaurant.
Yeah.
So, I mean, she helps earn it.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm the one that goes and sorts it and pays it.
It's still your restaurant.
I used to have a joke I would do it's like when your kids make you breakfast. It's like, it's a good gesture, but it's not doing anything. That was cute. Now go sit down.
Right.
Like, I know you're doing this because you love me. It's not a drop in the bucket whatsoever, but I appreciate it.
My wife gets mad because they call her the owner's wife. She's like, the fuck?
Sounds better than the person who blows the owner. You don't want that title.
Oh, Jesus.
We'll keep it PG.
No, but that's something that like drives her nuts about people. Just like that's that whole like. She tells me my wife has a unique outlook on life. I think she probably, if I were to decide someday to be a comic, she probably would feed me most of the information. I would put it out there, but she would probably feed me the information because I just don't see shit. Like I literally walk around oblivious to everything. Like
a good woman is very good for that. My girlfriend helped me in ways like that. You know what I mean? A good woman is a good partner in being able to. I mean, that's a relationship. You compensate for each other's deficits. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's how you can tell you were somebody good, was when you're not clashing with them. It's like you pick up the slack where they might drop off, and they pick up slack where you do. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, everything that's happened good here has been her idea. I mean, most of it. Like the patio, when I put the patio on that's over there on this side. I don't know if you even seen it when you came in.
I did. That was me looking down at my phone, looking at like, where's the address?
So that patio that's right there on this side, I went to go put a little tiny patio. She's the one who come up with the idea the way it is.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, damn, that would work. You know what I mean? So just lots of things that she's done that way.
I noticed that with relationships and with growth, it's like, especially as guys, I mean, we don't admit it all the time, but we can have a healthy amount of ego, you know what I mean? Yeah. But, and arguing too with women, like a lot of times you can, since we have a very like logical, again, right brain type, you can easily be like, this is this, and this is that, but there are so many times too or if you're honest with yourself and you'll sit back and you're like, all right, she was making some points there. Okay. All right. I remember with my kids and their mom when we were still together, and she was always, if something happened, we gotta take the kids to the doctor. And I was always, I'm like, it's a cold. If we go there, they're just gonna do the whole eat, light and drink fluids and make sure you keep it, you know what I mean?
Right.
Let's only go if it's an emergency. Let's not waste these people's time. And I never forget, she kept wanting to take our son. This was before he got diagnosed because he kept getting, sick. And I'm like, he's okay. And then she took him, and then turns out he had an ear infection.
Yeah.
And that was one of the lessons I had. Like John, you're not always right. Sometimes go with the woman's intuition. You know what I mean? I'm trying to be Mr. Logical. Like, he ain't dying. Yeah. He's fine. And sure, and that happened a few times, because that was the thing. Actually, before he got diagnosed as autistic, we thought he was losing his hearing, because after a while he stopped responding to his name. You know what I mean?
I don't think any of my kids have their hearing.
What'd you say?
Right.
Yeah. So, but that was one of my first lessons. And like, even if you are quote right, a lot of times, don't be so arrogant that you can't hear what somebody else is
one of my
saying,
things. And if I'm in an argument with somebody, because I'm a contractor too, and I do metal studs, drop ceilings, drywall, that kind of stuff. And I've been in some pretty antagonist arguments where it's like it's getting out of hand.
Yeah.
But one of my things that I've always went to, because you could see it when it's going on, just imagine, I'll say to them right in the middle of an argument, I go, just imagine that maybe right now you're not right. Just imagine, maybe that's the case. Just imagine.
That's a good,
you know what I mean?
That's a good place to,
and it's always worked for me. And I'm waiting for the guy to just just imagine I knock your fucking ass out, you know. But I mean, it's always worked for me, you know.
It's good to have like that kind of baseline. That's why I say, like I said earlier, I have this thing where I don't die on any hill, and I'll tell people that I'll be pretty confident what I'm saying, but I'm not gonna argue you down to a nub. It's like, all right, I'll agree to disagree. I'm not. If you really feel that strongly and I feel that strongly, we'll either try to come to a consensus or just hopefully,
okay.
yeah, or as long as none of us is coming from a bad faith argument, meaning that you're just being opposed to me just for the sake of being what do you call it? Now I'm losing my words on stage. Contrarian.
Yeah.
Because some people are just contrarians. It has nothing to do with right or wrong. It's just if you're going left, I'm going right. If you're going up, I'm going down. You know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah, I'm not dying on this hill. If you really believe that we need to,
I feel like that's what's happened, and not to go political role, but I feel like that's what's happened with the Democrat Party, like that, because I feel like Trump moved into that left spot that used to be there, the Clinton, Obama type Democrats. So then everybody else went way over here, and now it's too extreme. Like that's too far. You went too far.
I don't believe that, but I get what you're saying. I would say that Trump moved into a populist rhetoric to where he was at least attempting to talk to the people, and that's why people responded to him. I would say with Democrats, their problem is the whole Overton window in the United States is completely backwards, because like the Democrats are supposed to be the left party, but in any other country, it would be a conservative party. Like the problem with the Democrats is the overall problem with all politics is just they're bought off and they don't listen to their constituents. You know what I mean?
I don't think that like AOC and I don't think they're bought off. I think they're just wild, in my opinion. I think they're too wild for most people. I mean,
what's wild about AOC?
That just wanting to just everything's got to be about giving gay rights and Muslims rights and blah 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 blah. It's just too far. I
think cultural stuff hits conservatives in a, I don't want to say sensitive, but in a place to where it's hard to get around it. I can understand in a way just pragmatically how especially if you're conservative, because of the nature of conservatism is just liking things how they are and not trying to change things. Especially if you view it to be a radical change. So I can view that to where, like, if you're used to living in a Christian area, something Muslim might look,
oh no, Muslim is bad for the country when you let it push too far. Because the Muslim, as their belief, if they're true Muslims, their goal is to turn everybody into a Muslim. And rule by Muslim beliefs.
Well, here's the thing, and I'll tell you this as an agnostic person, somebody who doesn't have a dog in any of these fights, fights as far as religion. I look at all religion like that. Back to my point of Jehovah's Witnesses. Their whole goal is to make everybody a Christian.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
I understand that. I get that.
So it's to me, it's like that with all religions. But Abrahamic religions are. The thing that's funny to me is they're all the same. It'd be different if somebody was knocking on the door talking about Vishnu or like Confucius or something like that. But all the Abrahamic religions are just arguing over semantics, just like who was a prophet and who was a god and what was this and what was that. At the end of the day, that's the goal of.
But no Christians are having like that, anything that's so extreme.
Well, not anymore because they already did that. We're just living in a different time. They already conquered the people. Like if you go back far enough, they were doing.
I'm not talking about them not want every religion wants to pass a religion. I'm talking about their goal is to get everybody under Sharia law. That's their goal. The Muslim. That's what they want.
I get that. The thing you have to understand.
And Christian law is very different. Is my point.
Yeah, I get that. The thing that I with that is you have to understand is just like if you're a Christian, if you don't, you have to believe that Jesus is the true Lord and Savior. One of the things about what's going on with Israel now is, Israel gets established, and that's one of the things that happens right before the end times. You know what I mean? And one of the rubs that people have against like evangelical Christians is a lot of what's going on these days. Some people call it accelerationism, to where you're just getting us to the point to where Jesus comes back and we usher in, revelation and everything that happens after that. And some people look at that as being dangerous too, because if you live outside of that worldview, then it's synonymous with Sharia law, to where you are imposing an outside belief that is accelerating us, to me being a person who's not in it, to basically be a part of this thing that's going to destroy my way of life. You know what I mean? So I can get how that looks like scary from the outside looking in, but to me, all religions do that. And most of the people who are in it don't. It's like talking to a Catholic, and like most Catholics don't believe all the shit that Catholicism tells you have to do. And that's how it is, at least with the Muslims that I've met and even Christians that I've met. If you go into the dogmatic thought of what everybody's religion really is, then it's a lot of shit that was like, oh shit. But you got 70% of most of the people in that religion don't subscribe to that.
No, and I get that.
It just becomes tradition and family and this thing that you do. You know what I mean? But again, that's why overarching. That's why I stepped away from religion, period, just because, again, when you get into dogmatic patterns of thought, this has to be this, and if you don't believe this, this is this, and this, you're going to, like, the Sabbath and the eating pork, and I remember I worked for a Jewish retirement home when I was younger, and it was cool because I got to learn how to cook kosher. But before that, I didn't know. I mean, I knew the basics, we don't eat pork and blah, blah, blah. But it was literally this huge kitchen, and one half of the kitchen was dairy, and the other half was meat. And I didn't realize in Judaism, you can't, they don't eat cheeseburgers. They don't put dairy on meat. That's one of their religious things. And then you have to wash the dishes out in like holy water. And then on the Sabbath, which their Sabbath is either Friday or Saturday, I forget. But you can't use technology. No holy fire, no this and that. So when you start getting into like dogmatic patterns of thought when it comes to religion, like if you're on the outside of it, it all looks wild.
I do agree that I agree with that aspect of it. My thing is, though, is I just don't know of any Christians or Jews that have laws that in turn you're getting caned for not, following suit, or it just is a lot. That's the thing that's scary to me. I only say it's not scary for them to have it there where they're at. I don't care what they do. Do what you want. I don't give a shit. What scares me is like when if they become the governor of Ohio or the mayor of Cleveland. That's scary.
I get that. I get that from an outside looking in thing. The thing that
like that Mondami or whatever. Zoran
Mondami.
That is going to be horrible for New York if that happens.
You think so?
Oh, absolutely.
I'm happy for that dude. I'm glad he got elected. I hope something good.
Well, he hasn't got elected yet.
Well, it's you know what I mean. It's one of those things where New York City is so blue that once you win the Democratic primary,
yeah, but I think that I think you might be shocked, honestly. I might be wrong, but I don't think it's going to be a runaway like it should have been.
I don't think it's going to be a runaway. I don't think anything's going to be. Because here's the other thing. The political divide in this country, the way people look at like New York and California as being this bastion of liberalism, and like Texas being this super red state. Like things aren't as black and white and compartmentalized as, basically in this country, if you are in a city, you're in a somewhat blue area, and if you're in a rural area, you're in a red area. The thing that I wish people would come from and teach is it's actually a book about this, City Mouse, Country Mouse. things that work in cities don't always work in the country and vice versa, but we keep trying to impose our
that's the whole point behind of an electoral college. That's the whole reason for it. That's the reason an electoral college.
Well, electoral college first came around because of slavery, just because they had to up the numbers for the people in the South because you didn't have as many registered
They've always
voters.
had electoral college from the beginning. And it
was always slavery. The reason they came through is because their numbers didn't reflect the people who could vote.
No, it was because it's no, that's wrong.
I'll Google you.
But that's some left wing bullshit that's being fed. That the truth of the matter is the reason the electoral, because I don't even think they had, if we're being honest, I don't even think they counted black people back then. If we're being honest,
that's what I'm saying.
But an electoral college was decided
because they didn't count black people, they needed to boost the numbers. You think of a place, you think of a county that you would have in like Mississippi, and like a significant amount of the people in that county are slaves, but they don't.
But you're missing the point of it. I think you're looking for it to be somewhere that it's not.
I'm not. I'm saying.
Or whoever put that out there.
I'm saying objectively, it's just okay. I'll take it away from electoral college. It's the same argument that people have about senators. A lot of people argue that Wyoming shouldn't have the same amount of senators as California or Texas. But
they have one per electoral college. That's why they have it.
No, I'm saying every state gets 2 senators.
Right.
But a lot of people's argument against that is you should not have a state that has 1 million people have as much representative as a state that has 40 million people. That's a disproportionate
It should, though.
amount.
That's the whole point of an electoral college. That's the whole point of it. That's what we're talking about.
I get what you're saying.
The point is that because if you didn't, Cleveland, Columbus, Cincinnati would decide all of Ohio. And it's just not fair to the rest of the people in Ohio. And it's true with the whole country. So then California, Boston, New York, and Chicago would decide all of the whole country. And it's just not fair. I mean, we don't have the same lifestyle. That's the point of an electoral college.
I get that. I get that part of it. But the other part of it that's not fair is like you basically with gerrymandering. What goes on? This is another.
Oh,
thing.
I don't agree with gerrymandering. I don't agree with that. That's a whole other thing.
This is another thing that people talk about. Like again, to bring up Texas. Texas is a red state. But 60% of voters in Texas are Democrats, 40% are Republicans. But they gerrymandered that state to the point to where Republicans win most of the time. It's the same in Ohio. And they're going through that in South Carolina. It's either North or South Carolina. They always say Carolina.
And California is doing the same thing, but for the left.
But because they're trying to get rid of the Voting Rights Act. And one of the reasons that they did that, to your point of having smaller groups have more representation. So with them redistricting, a lot of these districts that were able to have like black congressmen and stuff like that, those are getting stumped out because they're gerrymandering it to the point where basically it's the thing to where politicians get to pick their voters instead of voters picking their politicians.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
There should be a rule set for districting. It should just be set in stone, and it should not. It should not be changed by our decisions. It should just be like factual. Like you get X amount per whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Well, basically, what both of us are saying is one person's vote shouldn't be voided out because another person on paper has a bigger standing or more power. Just because there are 51 or 55% of people saying something over here, that shouldn't mute 44 to 46% of people over here, because that's still a significant amount of people who are not having their voices heard. And what is the most equitable way that we can have voices heard, even if you get pushed into a quote minority?
Right.
So I think that's, at the end of the day, that's what we're both saying.
And that's what we want. And that's why it's important. I mean, because we're not a democracy. And the reason we didn't want to be a democracy for any reason whatsoever is because that would be the case. Because a democracy, the majority rules.
But because and you get mob rule too,
right? Which is a mob, right?
And that's that you'll have like Salem witch trials and shit like that,
right? Yeah, basically, right.
And as one of the reasons too, where they did have what they call representative democracy, because it's like they wanted at least people who what they thought at the time would be more educated and equipped to deal with the issues and that be the representative of the people in this area, rather than to get every Tom, Dick, and Hank to fucking put their opinion down about, every levy or whatever else we're trying to vote in the law. That was the other thing too that was brilliant about what Benjamin Franklin wanted with having free public libraries, because he was like, what is the point of having any democratic process if your constituents are ignorant? It's better to have an informed society, because the more people are informed, the more they'll actually be able to have an objective idea or even opinion about something that's going on. If you have a bunch of people who don't know what they're talking about, it's kind of what's going on with the internet now. Then it's the loudest person wins, or even the slickest person who gets to manipulate the information how they want. So there is a lot of stuff that even though it wasn't perfect,
why I subscribe to being a conservative, but only on the basis that I believe in the least amount of government possible.
Yeah.
That's my big thing. Like I grew up on welfare. I grew up in the projects here in South Lorraine. And I know government programs need to be there. I know police and special services. I know there has to be a limit. There has to be an amount of it.
Yeah.
And I was a union carpenter, so I agree with that being able to have that socialist program within a capitalist program. Yeah. I agree with that. But to me, the least amount, anytime the government puts their hand in anything, they fuck it up every time. Yeah. They're not good at it. They're not, everything they do, it costs too much. It's retarded. Yeah. Anything they do. And that's just the way I feel about it. And that's where my conservatives stay out of everybody's life and let them go. Like when they shut us down and we're making people get vaccines, like my brother, he worked at Rydell. Yeah. Still does.
What is Rydell?
You really don't know football, do you?
I wasn't joking, dude. Does he work for the Browns?
they make sports equipment, and namely all the NFL helmets and college football helmets.
All right. Don't come for me.
They make them right here in Elyria. And my brother runs the paint
NFL?
booth. Yeah.
Jesus,
yeah. Peyton Manning is one of the owners, actually.
Holy shit.
I mean, I'm not saying the company is huge. One factory.
But one of the satellites.
Yeah. And it's a large factory here. Yeah. But my brother runs the paint division, and he paints the NFL helmets. Right. And they came in, and they were like, if you don't get the COVID vaccine, you're going to get fired. Yeah. Everybody. And he's like, my brother goes, I don't know what to do. I'm not getting a vaccine. I'm not. He just.
What did he end up doing?
He ended up, everybody in his division decided they weren't going to do it, and they couldn't get rid of everybody. So,
strength in numbers.
I mean, he was okay with that. He was the first person I heard really have to deal with that. Yeah. The whole thing. I didn't have to. I owned the bar at that time. And we had, I just thought it was absurd because we had never, we didn't shut down. They let us do carryouts or whatever. Yeah. And we did more business in carryouts. I mean, I met more public people and we're close to public people because this place was rotating. I mean, I did so much food out of this place. Yeah. It was insane. The community was awesome to me. I mean, they would just show up and take care of me. Well, at a certain point, too,
people were getting, for one, people were pulling for smaller businesses, so that helped. And for two, after a while, when the cabin fever kicked in, people just wanted to get out.
Yeah, to just maybe go pick up some food or something. Yeah, you might be right.
And part of it just to get to some point of normalcy. You know what I mean? We're governed by so much of just routine in our lives that when you break up that routine, it kind of drives you crazy.
I don't have anything against anybody. My father-in-law got a vaccine. My mother got the vaccine. Yeah. I didn't even think about it. I'm here. It wasn't a reason I ever had
I went through that with my son, and I was joking with somebody like how a lot of people are like, vaccines cause autism. When my son first got diagnosed, I went down the vaccine rabbit hole, and I was like, I didn't want him
pretty promising that it could have been, right?
I didn't want him to get any more vaccines, and then when I would go to the doctor and tell them that, and we were young parents too.
They want to bitch slap you. They're yelling at you, right?
Yeah. So that got very. I don't agree with what you're saying for the most part, but I get what you're saying because when somebody tells you what you can and can't do,
right?
I'm like,
then your freedom's gone.
I'm like, this is my son. We're the ones going through this. if anything, I'm the one putting myself vulnerable, not you. If you all are doing the good thing, then you guys are gonna be okay. Now there's different stuff to that as far as, especially when it comes to measles and other shit that you could still spread. But like I give, again, this is my I don't die on any hill. I'll agree to disagree with people and stuff. But I think one of the problems that happens with like political divide and discourse and stuff like that is
well, somehow the right got blamed for the vaccine, like being non-vaxxers is a right thing, and the left wing is if you get. That's not true. Almost every right-wing person I know got vaccinated.
I know, but
I mean, I don't get it.
You do have to like that. A lot of the noise that was coming from that was coming from right wing spheres. Now, it wasn't everybody's right wing, because that was one of the things. Trump was one of the biggest like pushers of it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And every time he would bring it up, it pissed me off. That was one of the things his constituents would be like, "Boo!" You can do other shit, but when he brought that up, so I do get that part of it, but for the most part, a lot of the people who there's this whole thing that they call the wellness to right wing pipeline, to where like a lot of people, if you're not in politics at all, a lot of wellness and as far as how you eat, all meat diets, cold plunges, just taking care of yourself and all that, eventually you'll get into right-wing kind of territory, just because it has a lot to do with just a lot of conservative talking points, which is taking care of yourself, individual responsibility, things like that. So a lot of things in health, whether purposely or not, you kind of end up in a conservative kind of echo chamber.
You can to some degree. But
don't get me wrong. Some of that gets you too into left wing, like when the hippiness and the Whole Foods, and you know what I mean. So it kind of depends on where you start to split in that. Where you
my mom's very liberal. My mom's a lesbian. Yeah. So she's very, very liberal. She's married, but she lives on a bunch of land out in Amish country. So. I mean, but they are left wing. They're voters that way, and that's the thing. And she's vegan, so
there are Venn diagrams where that's why a lot of Bernie people split for Trump, because there are Venn diagrams of independence and free thought, to where people, if you identify as left and right, are in agreement of, and that is some of the shame of where a lot of this division starts to. Really, really hurt.
The division is they're doing that at the top because they like it, they love it. It's their way to control you and all that bullshit. So my whole thing, though, the reason I brought, like when we were talking about vaccines, where I was leading to that was when Dylan. When I was born, I'm sure you're only like 6 years younger than me. We had like 3 vaccines. That's it. Yeah. Go to school, you're done. Yeah, we were fine. We're healthy. We're good. But when my son was born, a 13-year-old. My wife's friend, their mother's friend, is a Jew from New York with an autistic kid. Right. And she was harassing us. Do not get those vaccines. The Jewish people in New York are very strong about not getting vaccines.
They're very a lot of stuff.
Well, that's something they're crazy about. Like, they're nuts. And this is 2012. I didn't really even consider any of this stuff yet. When we were supposed to get vaccines for the kids, they just got them. That was it. I didn't ever think about it. All of a sudden, she's saying not to get them. We're going, what do we do? I don't know what to do. We brought it up to the doctor. I mean, oh my God.
Yeah, they look at you.
He acted like I was kicking the shit out of the kid. You know what I mean?
Well, part of it too that's insulting is I get that, we didn't go to school for those many years to be a doctor, but because you didn't, they'll talk to you like you shouldn't even be able to have an opinion. I remember.
But he's not a scientist. He's a doctor that is telling you what he was told. He's not a scientist.
Well, and not just that, but you got to think of the many things to where there's so many doctors that have like pharmaceutical people who want to push a certain pill, or you don't know how good this person did in their class. You might have been the C student at whatever the fuck college you went to. I remember when we would take our son to get his routine shit, and even outside of the vaccine thing, because he started getting these stomach issues and stuff, which is very common with autistic kids. So I would do like these elimination diets, and we did like a gluten-free, casein-free diet. This is gluten-free before everybody was doing this shit. This is early 2000s. And so you really have to like read labels and stuff. And then casein is a milk protein, a dairy protein. So essentially it's a dairy-free diet. But they say, you do this and it helps to correct a lot of gastrointestinal issues. And then that translates into a lot of behavioral issues. So either way, so we're not doing that. So I'm talking to the doctor and even the people at school, and they're, giving him his carton of milk a day. And I'm like, well, can you not do that? Because we're not doing dairy.
Well, it was a little early then too at that time, probably.
But I'm like, can we not do that? And to your point of telling them about it and how they just try to talk to you like you're stupid, because we were young parents. But then when I was in my 20s, like I really look young, like I look like a teenager. So I look like some boy coming in here telling this person with a doctorate, and they get insulted by that because I had read, and I mean, you can get mad at me, but I was like, there's more calcium in broccoli than there is in milk. You don't have to give him milk. And the look on her face, she got so fucking mad at me.
Well, have you ever seen the movie Forks Over Knives? It's on Netflix.
Yes.
So do you remember him saying something to the effect of
this was the guy who did the juice thing, right?
No, vegan.
Oh, yeah.
He was the guy that worked with the heart surgeon, but he's vegan.
Dude, I watched a handful of those. There's so many of those. Yeah.
But he said something about, cow milk is the perfect food for cows. He goes, that's literally was pushed by the dairy farms. It's bovine growth hormone. Yeah, now it is. Yeah, absolutely.
It's not
That's how you get LeBron James.
Yeah, it's not for human consumption. Yeah,
we didn't see. I didn't turn into LeBron James because we had powdered milk in my.
Well, LeBron grew up poor in Akron. I'm sure he had powdered milk.
He probably did, but he must have been getting some cow milk somewhere. He got some growth hormones. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Somewhere was in his food.
Government cheese.
I had a lot of that.
Yeah, hell yeah. Those big ass bricks.
It was so good.
In the carbo.
You can't make mac and cheese that good.
Best grilled cheeses ever. Yeah, but yeah. So I get where a lot of that pushback comes from.
It's stressful though. As a parent, how the hell do you know?
Yeah.
You feel like a bad parent no matter what decision you make.
Well, it's hard.
That's tough.
And you're learning as you go. But again, like I was saying, like when me and my kid's mom had broke up, there's so many.
She didn't take Tylenol, did she?
Every day, dude. She fucked her liver up. Just Tylenol and vaccines. She even looked at any clips and we're like, oh shit. Our son likes trains. No, but one of the things I didn't realize that's a stress on a relationship and parents and all that is just everybody else's outside philosophical view of what to do with your kid. You know what I mean?
Well, parents for sure, and grandparents definitely.
And that was the thing with her because she's an only child, and her parents are awesome. Amazing. They help raise our kids and stuff like that. But I'm the youngest of three, and I'm the boy. You know what I mean? So
at your point, your mom didn't even give a shit. You had Huggies and all that stuff.
but on top of that, like I didn't realize until I was with her that since she's an only child, her and her mom were kind of tied together at the hip. You know what I mean? Super great, but it's one of those things where have you ever been in a relationship with a woman where you talk to her and then she's got to kind of go talk to either her friends or her mom before she makes a final decision? It was that with everything.
Yeah, right.
And it got to a point to where like I remember I was like, I fucked you, I didn't fuck your mother. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
was her mom hot?
No. I mean, at a certain point, I'm sure she was. Her dad is cool as shit, but he was like, he wasn't a bodybuilder, but he used to always like weightlift to the point where he had all these pictures of him like flexing, you know. And so yeah, I would not make a pass at her mom, or her father would have beat the shit out of me. He already didn't like me for knocking his daughter up and not marrying her. So, but it was one of those things to where. That was one of the first lessons I had to where you're talking to somebody and your words aren't the final word. They have to go confer with the counsel before she can have a final thought about something. And after a while, that just It just became annoying. It's like I didn't know that there was going to be an outside parent.
I never really had that, and I'm pretty lucky, I guess, that way. I never really had that.
It sucked. And again, even through that being shitty, her mom's a sweetheart.
Yeah.
So it could have been a lot worse, but just even having to deal with that element of it, you know what I mean? And I think, too, as a man, that kind of fucks with you, too, just because as a man, kind of you're... And I don't even mean this in some chest pounding way, but just even as women, how they defer to us for that. They want that. I mean, a lot of women won't outwardly say that, but they like that.
No, they do. Most women do want you to take control, unless they're like a blue-haired, crazy, like just off the wall, trying to prove a point type thing.
Can I let you in on a little secret?
What's that?
I remember I was doing a comedy thing where I was doing like crowd work, and it was this obviously like liberal kind of, blue-haired woman. We were talking about all this different stuff like man-woman dynamics, and she's just talking about, no man's gonna do this and that, and then we started talking about sex and stuff, and I was like, do you like to be dominated and choked in bed and all this stuff? She's like, yeah. So at the end of the day, it could be the most blue-haired, crunchy bitch out there, and like certain dynamics are gonna always be.
Yeah,
you know
probably.
What I mean?
Maybe.
She could be the most like stereotypical liberal woman she wants to be.
No, it just drives me nuts. I don't need a man to take care of, but then they all have some man somewhere, something.
Yeah.
There's whether it's their mom's friend or their uncle or their dad, somebody's over there changing their tires and shit.
And even if it's a woman who presents as a man, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and I've seen that on the other side of it. I've seen a lot of these red pill guys who are like, fuck women and blah, 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 blah. And then you like peel back some layers, and they either have some woman who's, their partner or controlling the shit, or on the other end of it, they can't get women. They're just constantly buying pussy. You know what I mean? There's so many people who don't practice what they preach.
Oh, 100%.
There's so
100%.
many people who like to put out a whole thing, but when it comes to the practice, when the rubber meets the road, they have so many caveats and some, well, I kind of, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's normal. I'm bad with that. With like, I will tell you, like, don't give in to your kids. Don't let them, if you do, you know what I mean? They're going to turn out bad if you give them everything. And I'm the first one to tell you that. I'm the first one to whatever. Yeah, what do you need?
Well, part of that's the dad too. My kid's mom used to get mad at that because she's like, "Yeah, I just can't be the bad guy. You just can't be the fun person." I'm like, "Well, we're not together. I see him on the weekends. I mean, by nature, we're going to kind of be having fun." You know what I mean?
Have you seen Mrs. Doubtfire?
Yeah. And I'm like, for better or worse, take that, because I've had other times where I wish she was on. I've had times where I wanted to be, where I kind of wanted them to come to me, like with certain like talking or if they, but they go to their mom for that.
But the thing is, that is a heart. But you know what the thing is with that is, like with my kids. When I say something to them, because I am usually the one that's pretty fun laughing around.
Yeah.
Although my kids always think I'm too far, what anything. It's like, oh, Dad, you're being ridiculous. You know. But when I put them on the line and go boom, they know I meant it, because I don't bitch about everything. Yeah. I don't complain constantly. But when I said it, it meant it had to be said, and they know that.
That's the thing. A lot of me and my kids' mom had an argument about that, and I had to, this is another political thing, me being left, not right. I had this joke that I only agree with George W. Bush on two things. And one of them was that phrase he used to have, "We do not negotiate with terrorists." Because, like, she would be sitting there bartering with the kids. I'm like, why are you going back and forth? We're the adults.
Right.
We do not negotiate with terrorists.
Well, you're at that age group where we weren't allowed. Like, our parents were like, get the fuck out of our face.
Exactly. You know? So saying all that to say, to your point with the... it's easier to be fun dad, too, because, I never had to get kind of in my kid's shit, but the handful of times you have to be stern... They instantly, it's just, so it is easier for us in that way, because you don't have to, come on. You don't have to do that thing that the moms do.
They ain't got to frickin' harass the kids either, though. Yeah. My ex-wife used to she would take my daughter upstairs for like an hour over something she did that What? Why an hour?
Just browbeating the shit out of
Yeah,
them.
just up there, just straight browbeating her. Like, I'm like, what the hell are you doing? You know, she quit listening to you 2 minutes in, right?
Yeah, it's
like
like
you
at a certain
wasted
point-
your whole breath. You wasted your time, her time, everybody's time.
At a certain point, she's just dumping her day.
Yeah, right. Like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah,
Like,
that is a thing about being dad. I did notice that. Like, if you just say something, that they'll just straighten up. So we do have it, you know.
you got it a little
like
bit.
That, yeah.
I mean, we got it pretty made. We don't bleed. I mean, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
Those things, I don't know how they walk around with them. I mean, you don't get looked at like that. Why? When I was young, girls looked a lot. But I mean, after 25, I don't get harassed or nothing. I mean, I can walk down the street, nobody's whistling
At all. My girl, she was just saying some. I forgot. She was half joking. You know how like your girl will joke about something like you better not be doing this out there with these women. I was like, I wish women looked at me.
It'll do something for my ego a little bit, something.
I was at work. I was at my bartending job, and it just so happened to be mostly women at the bar, and we're all just kind of laughing and talking. And then somebody was at the end of the bar, like, "I see you. You got all these." I was like, "No." I was like, "This is all transactional."
But the restaurant business is like, there's a lot of like,
sex,
fucking
drugs, and
going
rock and roll.
on.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
there's a lot of that going on.
Very incestuous business. Oh yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I mean, I can understand. Is she one of those that goes in your phone?
No, she has, but she doesn't anymore. To where I had this joke I was telling her about, like, I'm too old to lie and get caught, like, you know what I mean. And then I had another thing I was telling my girl too. I was like, when somebody's cheating is when you think they're not cheating.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
right.
So whenever you have these little, these inclinations of, oh, he must have been blah, 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 blah. It's like, no, he was at the store. The time that he was cheating is the time that you thought he was being a good
Right.
guy. You know what I mean? And it's vice versa. Same with a woman. You could think you're catching a girl. That old joke about women being so much better at cheating than men are. You know what I mean? It's so, yeah, you're just wasting your time. And if you get to that point to where you want to look, I've done that. I've looked in a phone and I've had my phone looked in, and man, some shit you cannot unsee.
Yeah, right.
So if you have that feeling, just leave, because you'll go see something that you can't.
Oh, my wife will look in my phone sneakily. It's rare, but it's like I'll wake up in the middle of the night. All of a sudden, she's not in bed. My phone's not next to on the nightstand. I'm like, oh, geez, I just go back to bed.
I woke up
and I think I'm okay. You know what I mean? Then she just starts bitching about what kind of porn I'm watching or something. Like, what the fuck? You couldn't find nothing, so now you got to bitch about the porn I'm looking at?
Yeah.
You should put that in your mental envelope and just swipe out and remember it. That's all you got to do with that, and shut up.
Yeah. I woke up to my girl going through my phone before, and then she like kind of, I was like, what are you doing? And then she kind of and threw it, like, getting an attitude with me. I'm like, you the one fucking going through my phone, shit. And
they love to catch you on something, and if you ain't got nothing, they'll find something to do.
I went through her phone. This was years ago, but I remember, they all got the guy that you're not supposed to worry about. So the guy that I wasn't supposed to worry about.
Mine don't have that. I don't know about that one.
Well, it was some. This is when we first got together, and she.
Maybe when we first got together, yeah.
And we had. There's a bit of an age difference. She was like 8 years younger than me, and my girlfriend's white, and so there's like a racial generational thing, because like we had got together, and then she had like a few of her exes that she was still cool with, to where they would still talk and sometimes even go out, and I was like, and then I would talk to different people, and I came to find that it was more of most of my white friends did that, and most of the younger people I knew did that. So I'm like, oh, John, this is an old black thing. So fast forward, I remember I had went through her phone, and this guy who was her ex, like, I looked that up. So I was like, I wonder what conversations were there, and it was completely blank. And then so I brought
that's dirty.
I brought it up to her years later, and I was like, just for the record, I did go through your phone before, and you know what your biggest red flag was? You erased an entire whatever.
Right.
I never brought it up again.
10 years of texting.
and it's all gone. I was like, you know how like sometimes silence can be the loudest thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was the loudest thing, and I was like, you well played.
Well played.
When
when I first met Amanda, she was nuts. Like, she was absolutely crazy. like to the next level. One day I went to bed, and that's what we had just like we weren't living together or nothing like that, you know.
Yeah.
I go to bed, she's at the house or whatever, and I wake up, and my phone's there. I don't know the passcode though. She's gone. Hey, and the toilet paper's gone.
Oh God. Oh God.
He's a childish motherfucker. Boy.
See how you gonna wipe your ass now?
Oh yeah, my dad said, yeah, I knew you was gonna marry her.
Yeah. Well, sometimes it's the pushback. I tell my girl now is she's a sweetheart, like, and she's super nice and super agreeable. But one of the things that I told her was super surprising about her is I have never got the amount of pushback from a woman that I've got from her. And it's weird because she is a very agreeable, nice person. But
my wife just messaged on her. I bought it.
See what you get for putting that out there? By the way, and I do make money for the restaurant. But as a man, sometimes that little bit of pushback makes it. It's the same like we were talking about with women. How like a woman doesn't respect a man who is just super agreeable and just. I remember I was young and my sister, one of her friends, she was very attractive and I always had a crush on her. But I'm the little brother, so they're not even looking at me. But I remember one time she was talking about some guy who liked her. He was like, he does this and that. And she was just like, and I was like, in my mind, because I'm young,
do that.
I'm trying to get with her, and I was like, why wouldn't you like a guy who did everything you want? And she was like, because he doesn't have a fucking backbone. And that was the first time I heard that as a young man.
That was the first time you realized women are bitch. What a bitch.
Well, and I just realized I realized I can't nice guy weasel my way into pussy. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like that's one of the things as a quote nice guy. That's one of the things that makes like guys incels. It's like it's counterintuitive. You think that you can friend your way into pussy, but it's like. Women, that whole don't put a pussy on a pedestal. Like women aren't this unattainable, like great thing. They're human beings. You know?
Oh no,
what I mean?
we put it higher on a pedestal than they ever did. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
And we turn it into this thing that it's not. And it's like just because you're a girl she wants to be doted after, but in a different type of way.
That's not even true. She doesn't even want that until after she's already accepted you. She wants you to appreciate it after you got it.
Yeah.
And ahead of time, she don't want no appreciation, no nothing.
Yeah.
She wants a straight asshole.
Yeah, if anything, that's why that term negging works. It came out of hookup culture, but this guy had this thing where you would talk to a woman you don't know, and you, hey, how you doing? Wow, that's kind of weird how one ear is bigger than the other one. Then just kind of walk away.
She'll be in love.
Oh my God. Because why haven't you noticed that? And blah, blah, blah. But these little things are what draw people, specifically women, in on a psychological level. And it's counterintuitive before you realize it. But then once you get the mechanics of it, it's like, oh, I get it.
Yeah,
you know
right.
what I mean?
It makes more sense once you understand it. But it takes us guys a lot longer to get there.
Because it's counterintuitive. You're from the bullshit, like, Disney fairy tales you saw, you thought you just had to white knight it, and it's like, no.
And not only that, like, can you imagine, like, when since you were a kid, like, that was the thing. Like, I mean, I don't know, 13 or something, you start going, I mean, that's what you were like all about. That's like you couldn't wait to get in. You're like playing double dutch, you know what I mean? God. Trying to get in, you know what I mean?
Oh my God. I was.
And their whole life has been this like fucking sick, disgusting, probably uncles looking at them wrong. Like, I mean, everything about their whole, I can't imagine what that could have been like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I can't even imagine what it was
just
like.
Attention from a very young age until the present.
That even now, like my daughter who's 31 actually, but I couldn't tell her anything at her age when she was like 17, 19.
Yeah.
There's 1,000 guys online telling her what an asshole her dad is if I said anything.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're just trying to get in her hand. And your buddy's one of them, actually, that was messaging her, actually. But this was years ago when she was a teenager, or not a teenager, but just turned an adult. Well, Bill Squire.
Oh, really?
He was hitting her up in her DMs.
Holy
once.
shit.
She told me that. I was so fucking pissed. I was so mad.
Holy shit.
I'm like, he's too fucking grown for that. Come on now.
It was I never, speaking of Chris Rock again, he had this joke about like men and turning down sex. He was like, it's hard for a man to turn down sex. Women turn down sex all the time. And he was going through the whole routine of a woman arguing that she's like, I turn down sex all the time. Why can't you turn down sex? I turn down sex all the time. And his answer back, he was like, because ever since you was 13, every man you met's been trying to fuck you.
Right.
Like the whole concept is boring at this point. You know what I mean? They just get inundated with sexual offers constantly. To what we were talking about.
Imagine. It'd be horrible.
Oh my God. Like we were talking about being a man. Like women never. I saw this thing on Instagram. It was so funny. It was a woman talking, and she was trying to like let men see it the way women do. So she was like, I wonder how a man would respond if I just did all these cat calls and this shit that I have to hear on a daily basis. And she was laughing because she was like, every single man that she would go up, she's like, well, you should smile. And every guy would smile and be like, hey, how you doing? And she was like, it's totally different because we live different lived experience. She was like, every man she went to and did that, he genuinely smiled. He was engaged. He was happy.
Who had the Tiger Woods joke? They said, yeah, he slept with, what was it, 1,000 women? I forget what it was.
I think that was Chris Rock too.
Was it? But he turned down 80,000. Your dude turned down one. I think Tiger's in better shape or something like that. Something to that effect.
Burr had a joke like that too. He was talking about Arnold Schwarzenegger. He was like, this great man, and then he gets taken down by that gold digging whore of a maid of his because his maid had got pregnant. Yeah, but he was talking about, he was like, all these great men, because he brought up Tiger
Adam
Woods.
Sandler did a movie about it. Go ahead.
Pretty much. But he was talking about the thing that you have to be to either be this guy who goes from bodybuilding to being literally one of the biggest movie stars of all time, or this guy Tiger Woods, who is this half black, half Asian kid who becomes one of the best golfers. But the mental stamina that you have to do to become what these men became, and to think that they're supposed to, turn down all the, it's like they're perfect in so many aspects of their life that you're going to fucking hang them up on this one thing. Like, let them fuck these hosts at Applebee's. if that's his weakness, if that's the only thing that this dude is literally the greatest golfer ever, if he can't turn down a fucking bitch giving away fucking riblets, I mean
Applebee's, that's rough.
Well, I forget the comic who said it, but they have brought up, because it was, I guess, once Tiger Woods' wife had turned against him and beat the shit out of his car or whatever.
Yeah.
But when they were bringing up the women, and this is kind of a common thing that happens with women, when they see the women that guys cheat with, they're never extraordinarily beautiful. They're usually plain Jane, and that's what people were like. He was like, damn, he cheated on his wife for just these plain looking. But that another Chris Rock joke. He's like, there's two kind of pussy in the world, old and new. That's it. and that's the only thing men respond to. That's why if you catch these guys who cheated, it's not with some, it's not Scarlett Johansson. It's, whoever does her hair. It's
it's whoever will do it and keep their mouth shut.
Yeah, she's fun. She drinks whiskey, and she,
Right. Amen.
In theory, ladies, this is not either of us talking. This is us just talking in general.
I'm saying what I observed.
For
that's all I'm saying.
Scumbags out here who do that. Why do I want to have sex with more than one woman? That's just weird.
My dad always said, why would you want to do that? Now you got two problems.
Yeah. that joke about the jihadists want to die and get 70 virgins. I wouldn't want one virgin. 70? Have you met a virgin? 70? Ouch. Can you stop, please?
Yeah.
For eternity? Whose idea was this? Are you that old Twilight Zone episode when the bank robber dies and he thinks he's in heaven, and at the end he takes his hat off and he has horns? Who said this was heaven? You're in hell. That's what hell is. 70 women who don't want to have sex with you.
Yeah, that's man. You went to Twilight Zone, boy. You really went back,
dude. I used to love Twilight Zone, dude.
The one that sticks out in my head is the one where he had the body growing out, like another kid growing out of his shoulder or something.
Oh yeah.
I kind of remember that one's the one that sticks in my head. And other than that, I don't remember a whole lot of them.
Dude, all the classic
or maybe that was
ones,
Alfred Hitchcock. Now that I'm thinking about it, it might have been Alfred Hitchcock.
The pig face ones, the Twilight Zone ones with that, where the everybody had like the weird faces. That one stuck with me. The kid in the town who was the devil. That was a great thing you did there. And he turns the dude into a Jack in the Box. The dude who just wanted to be by himself all the time and read, and he goes in the vault and there's a nuclear war and he comes out and he's finally by himself and he can read all these books, and then he drops his glasses and breaks them and he can't see shit. I just love the way they did that moral quandary in it, because it wasn't horror per se. It had aspects of horror, it had some aspects of sci-fi, but it was always like a moral dilemma, or what would you do if you, or just a way at looking at the world through a different lens. It was brilliant the way Rod Serling did that. Love that show, dude.
Yeah, that's an old show. I haven't seen it in a long time.
Love that show.
I don't even remember the last time I seen it, but I don't watch a lot of TV anymore.
Nobody watches TV anymore.
No, it's
no
not
more monoculture. It's all gone.
Yeah, that's a shame, actually.
What's your YouTube algorithm? That's what I was watching a YouTube thing on the way here.
Yeah,
I saw something. They were even saying like Netflix and all these, one of the reasons shows suck is they were saying that they don't even try to make them super good. They just try to make something that you would watch while you're scrolling on your phone.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So it's not, they're not even made to be compelling. And then so many people are so risk averse to where you have studios to where if it's not a sequel, they're like, what the fuck are we doing? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I gotta pause one more second.
Oh, you're fine.
I'm freaking. I don't know. I better go get kids. The last couple of days, I haven't.
UTI. We're going to keep the podcast going here. This is John Armstrong, guest comedian, here chilling on the pod. If you guys are ever bored, look up that NSFW podcast with me and the hilarious Chris Paul, where we explore all kinds of subjects and yell into a cloud like the angry comics that we are. We got Halloween coming up on Friday. Who's dressing up? Who's going out? Women, are you doing your horror costumes? Are we going to be sexy?
I don't know.
Insert.
What it is. I'm getting old. I don't know what it is. Hard to say. Don't know. Or maybe my prostate's bad.
I was about to say, you got to get a doctor, put that finger a couple knuckles deep to see.
My brother-in-law had that done. We went down there. So I lost my brother in 2022.
I'm sorry.
He was a good kid, never did anything wrong. All of a sudden he went off to college, drank and partied like everybody does in college. He went to Marshall. When he graduated Marshall, he ended up going to Hawaii, hanging out there or whatever. Apparently, he grabbed a drug habit. When he came back, he was 43 when he came back, or 41, 42 maybe. I don't remember how old he was when he came back. 41 maybe. And he was working here, working construction with me. He was a carpenter. He went through Carpenters Union before he went to college. So he had a journeyman's carpenter certificate. Then he went to college, he had his MBA. And he worked in restaurants the whole time he was down there.
Right.
And anyways, he came back. He had a drug habit. He ended up overdosing because he had a freaking, and I don't say it enough, and I should keep saying it to a lot of people. He had a back patch that was a lidocaine patch on his back, and apparently lidocaine intensifies coke, so the mixture will kill you.
Shit.
And I don't think enough people know that. He certainly didn't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? His back was hurting. Wow. And he must have messed with it. I've never done coke in my life, ever. When he left here, he wouldn't even drink. So I mean, it was a whole thing is wild that's what happened. Yeah. But anyways, I lost my brother. I forget where I was going with that. Oh, so then the next year I went down to my sister's house, and on vacation we go down there, me and my wife, and the day that we lost, and he had to cancel his colonoscopy, my brother-in-law.
Yeah.
Because he came up here for the funeral for my brother. So then we went down to visit my sister. She lives in South Carolina, just built a new house. We hadn't seen it yet. We went down there. And we get down there, and he's going to have his colonoscopy that he was supposed to get. But my brother died, and they ended up having to come here. Turns out he had a massive thing. He's only 41 years old, 40. He might have only been 39.
Yeah.
But he had this massive, they had to do emergency surgery while we were down there immediately. And now he's going through hell. Yeah.
What stage was it?
I don't know what that they considered that one. I know the one he has now is considered stage 3.
Yeah.
But because it's came back and it was on his liver.
Yeah.
And he's going through it now and it's bad. Like he's like freaking bleeding. His lips are bleeding. Like he's going through hell right now. My poor sister, I can't. And they got 3 kids, and it's rough down there. It's a rough way to go. So I'm quite frankly scared to go get one. But he had issues, is why he went. He went because he was having issues with bowel movements and things like that. But it was because he had a fist-sized blockage in there.
I know what you mean though. Like, I mean, fortunately, knock on wood, I need to get tested. I just lost a friend of mine a couple years ago to colon cancer. Like, that shit it's crazy. And it's one of those things to where it's nothing, and then you get a call, and then and they're talking about it too. Like, colon cancer is one of those things that used to come later in life, but so many more young people are getting it
because of their diets and stuff. They just don't eat good. People just aren't eating as good as they were, and the food that they're putting out doesn't have good stuff in it.
I was about to say that too. That's part of it, because people have been saying people have been smoking and drinking and eating animal fat for years, but now everybody's getting cancer. So I
don't know that. Well, I don't know that. I don't even think. I think that it's more what they're putting in the animals than it is the fat.
Yeah.
And then for 2, I think it's a lack of physical exercise. I mean, I don't think.
Well, we don't move around a lot.
No, not like we used to when we were in the 70s.
I did just read something too that they were saying a lot of the young people that they're finding. One of the breakthroughs, I guess, that they just had is basically people need more fiber in their diet. Well, the rot of all this overprocessed stuff that we're eating, when it gets in your stomach and it doesn't move, it just creates kind of a cesspool.
There's a lot of people I know that like to take the Metamucil. They'll do that daily just to make sure to push it out a little bit better and clump it. I know a lot of people that do that.
Dude, I've been doing.
Me and my wife were doing it for a while.
Yeah, I just bought some psyllium husk shit. I drank some of that yesterday. It helps. It pushes it through you. But they say you're supposed to do it more natural. But I am to that age to where you gotta. I did a couple PSAs. They didn't do the finger thing. They just did it by blood. But it's fucking scary, man.
I just don't go to the doctor. Unfortunately, I don't. I just don't. I really don't.
I know what you mean. There's an anxiety thing to it, because what if you do know? Because I remember thinking that with my friend when he got diagnosed, and just we all got the proverbial piano over our head, like whenever it's going to fall, but to kind of know and to all that is, and to not be able to do anything about it, and to kind of be in this state of hurry up and wait, and how long is this thing gonna take to chew me up?
My problem is I'm okay with wanting to know. Like, I want to know when I need to know. Yeah. I do want to. I don't trust that the doctors are doing what's best for you.
Well, you just got to find a better doctor then.
I haven't had any. It doesn't matter. I see what other people have gone through, and I see like how things deteriorate, and I just don't know. I just don't believe they know what the fuck they're doing. Yeah. I mean, sadly, I think they understand it but it seems like there's a lot of selling shit going on.
Well, yeah.
I mean, the Illyria Memorial here in Lorraine at one time, and it's been years, they got sued. They got in all kinds of trouble because they were #1 heart surgeon center around here and all this stuff. Then it turned out they were giving people heart surgeries that didn't need heart surgeries. Yeah. Like, that's insane. Like that, and that was when I was younger. That happened when I was probably like 25, 26 or something when that happened. Yeah. Scared the living hell out of me. Like, the last thing I want to do is like show up at a hospital and they like open me up for no reason. Now I have problems.
Yeah, treating you like a mechanic who like is throwing it. Yeah, you need to
like a backyard mechanic.
Blah. Yeah, you need to do this. I think that's one of the things. Speaking of political and like things left and right that we divide on and stuff like that. I think that's one of the things that we all see, and it's just it's through your filter of how it manifests. But that's one of the problems with healthcare is everybody can see that there's such a financial incentive that people go down to where you don't get properly diagnosed as an individual.
I don't think
people
so.
just look at you as that happened with me, and I didn't have insurance for years. And then when the pandemic hit, I finally ended up getting insurance, and I had went to the dentist for the first time in years, like too long for me to even be saying. But they were like, you need this deep cleaning thing. So they did the deep cleaning thing. And shortly thereafter, I ended up losing a tooth. And then last year, I lost another tooth and got it put. And then I just read this thing recently to where they were saying, you know, so many dentists
taking the enamel off.
Well, and no, not just that, but okay. They recommend different. You'll get a different prognosis if you go to 10 different dentists. You'll get 10 different ones. And they were saying with the specific procedure that I just so happen to have done with the deep cleaning, they were saying that that's not necessary in most cases that they say it is, but they just say it is because, of course, your insurance, whatever, is going to pay out and they make money off of it. But they found that the after effects of that is it destroys the microbiome of your, because, you know, like that's like your stomach. You have healthy bacteria in your mouth that balances out the bad stuff too. Right. And if you fuck that up too much, the bad stuff overgrows and you start dealing with tooth loss, tooth decay, and stuff like that. What I actually went through, and I'm going through my mind, but this is all anecdotal. I don't have any way to prove this, but I'm like, how come, you know, my teeth were fine all this time, not going to a dentist. I finally go trying to get on it. I get this thing that they recommend, and within a few weeks, my tooth cracks and it has to be extracted. And then within another year, I got to pull another one. You know what I mean? So just saying all that to say that that's it's a shame that so many people are financially incentivized to not look out for you, but just to look out for whatever, what can I push?
And then there's, I mean, and I go through, since I've been through life, all through life, you know, 52 years close. How many people have you known who've done some stupid shit? You've seen some dumb shit go on like that. I'm dealing with literally, honestly, right before we went on air today, I was with my wife this morning and her brother texted us. Her brother lives in Florida and he's been going through hell. He woke up like 2 months ago, just couldn't walk. 2 months ago, just 36 years old, can't walk. Just legs quit working.
Does he have any idea?
He's been to the doctor for a million things. He first started with a neurosurgeon. He said, you know, there's some damage, but it's not enough to cause this, and blah, blah, blah. They gave him shots. Now he's moving around with crutches now. He's, you know, he is starting to move around. He goes to this doctor, that doctor. All of a sudden, he just went to a doctor today. They just told him they're meeting with a new neurosurgeon that he doesn't have any activity on a couple of his discs in his back. And he's going to have surgery now. I guess he goes to his appointment November 8th.
Back surgery's scary, dude.
It is scary. But at the same time, this neurosurgeon, not only did he went to him and he told him it wasn't it, then he went back to another doctor. Because, I mean, and not only was it, he couldn't walk, his feet were purple. Like, his foot was like that big.
Oh,
it was mad. It was crazy, the shit that was going on. And so when he goes to the other doctor, they said, no, this is definitely a spine thing. You got to talk to the neurosurgeon. They called and he goes, I already seen the neurosurgeon. They called the neurosurgeon and said, no, that's not what it is. And he's been 2 months now when he didn't have to be dealing with this. I just I don't trust the medical system. Yeah. I don't trust the doctors. I don't trust that I don't trust that they're on their A game. It's kind of like Cedar Point. So when I was a kid, I loved Cedar Point. I rode them motherfuckers all the time. Yeah. But the mine ride, you remember when that came out?
Yeah.
That's the big deal. This thing was awesome. It's huge, the biggest, fastest wooden roller coaster ever.
Yeah.
It was
Mean
amazing.
Streak, right? Yeah.
Mean Streak. That's what it was. Mean Streak. What did I call it?
Mine.
Oh, the mine ride with the little one. No. The Mean Streak. Yeah. So the Mean Streak comes out, the biggest, fastest. It's amazing. I'm a union carpenter. You know who builds those, right? Union carpenters.
Okay.
I've met the guys that built them. Yeah, no, I will never go back on that. They, no. The carpenters, I mean, I'm not saying all of them, but certainly two that were working on it, I wouldn't let them put a grab bar up in my grandmother's kitchen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just no way.
Yeah, well, I saw something they were talking about that amusement parks, but it was more so on a smaller level as far as, you know, fairs and shit like that and carnivals. But they were like, it's not. highly regulated and you're very on a trust system, and you were dealing with people in the union, so they had to go through some type of
Yeah, we went through an apprenticeship, but that's not true. You can buy a union car. You go be a journeyman today.
But you get what I'm saying. To the lay person on the outside looking in, they might look at this as being more reputable than something else.
It is, probably is.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's not.
But that being said, if that one is having problems, then like, little mister, I just pulled up in my van and get on this Ferris wheel and try to get your blowjob at the top before the thing falls apart. Every man has asked for a blowjob at the top of a Ferris wheel. But yeah, it's one of those things to where you are at the whim of just fate and how much is this person giving a fuck about you? Yeah.
Yeah. What I'm saying is there's a million union carpenters. There are some that are really good. There's some that are great. There's some that are, but none of them have built the mean streak except for those few that did.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like they're not experienced at it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's stressful. And then when I think of doctors, I mean, it's almost worse to me. Like these guys are going by just what's taught to them. Were they paying attention? Were they stoned when they went to class? Were they freaking even did they miss half those classes?
Yeah.
Were they a C student? You know what I mean? Like, it stresses me out.
When I was dealing with the stuff with my son, and like I said, when we would go to the doctors, like one of the things I found out then is, they talk about this with Western medicine and whatever, but the small amount of nutrition that is focused on when it comes to getting your doctorate in America or whatever they call the Western world, but they were like to the point to where it needs to be addressed more, because that's why we are dealing with things like colon cancer and things like that, because we are very reactionary instead of proactive. So there's a lot of diseases, autoimmune things and things like that can be counteracted if we got to it ahead of time instead of getting behind the ball. And they were saying that just nutrition is not focused on enough for this to be the medical field. You would think that they would be, because somebody brought this up. It was anecdotal, but he was like, if you go to a car place and go to a mechanic, they'll ask you the history of a car. Has it ever been in any accidents or something like that? But when you go to a doctor, they rarely ask you, what are you eating? What is this? What is that? What led you to maybe start having some of these? And saying all that to say, we all get treated the same when we all have individual different just ways that our body reacts to outside stimulus. You know what I mean? And there's so much that we're putting in our bodies and that we're dealing with that people aren't even looking at. And those are just visible blind spots that people have, let alone, like you said, a doctor's own just incentives to want or not want to do certain things.
Right. And at this point, they're just using ChatGPT. And they really are, dude. They literally are.
I know. That's why I did.
They literally are. My daughter came in, my oldest daughter came in, and she was telling me that, I can't even remember what it is. I don't even want to pretend what I do remember what it was. But she's telling me that she's having these issues. And I know she was having problems with having seizures. And when she did it, I told her, because at the time she went on this diet kick where she was, she lost a ton of weight, like 180 pounds or something. But, and one of her things she would do is the sweet coffees and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I told her I said, cut out that, that diet sugar, diet sugar stuff, or go to stevia or whatever, something. Like, cut that out. And she did, and she stopped having problems like that. Then all of a sudden now she's having them again. And I said, well, what did the doctor say? And she said, and I was like, it just sounds like it could be this, or this, like 3 different things or something. I said, man, it sounds weird, so I chat GPT'd it. I swear to God, word for word, the 3 things that she was like, could have been. I go, you got to be kidding me. This is disgusting.
Yeah.
That's disgusting.
All the money you got to pay, and even all the money they paid to get through school. And it's like a comic, I forget her name, but she had a joke about that. She was like, she went to the doctor, and the doctor literally Googled her symptoms in front of her. And she's like, I could have fucking did that.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
It's like, if we're both just punching into our phones, then what the fuck am I here for? And why am I paying insurance for all this time? And why, you know what I mean?
And that's scary, because my wife, every time something happens in the house, she's playing her own doctor on Google, and every time she has cancer.
Yeah.
Every time she's got cancer and is going to die tomorrow. Every time.
I have a joke about that, about going to the doctor, and like that's one of the scariest things is Googling symptoms into the internet. Because then, and not only that, you always have cancer according to the internet, but then after that, since you Googled it into that, now the algorithm thinks that that's what you want. So every day you get to get reminded of how many ways you're going to die. So it's like, that's why.
Then it's just an algorithm of 1,000 ways to die.
Oh my God. That's why certain shit I won't even Google anymore, because now the algorithm just go keep throwing it out. Oh, you're scared to die? Now we're going to really make you scared to die. It's like, all right. I'll fucking deal with this myself. Yeah, it's infuriating, dude.
That's funny shit.
Yeah, fucking internet is the best / worst thing that ever happened to humanity.
It's the worst thing.
Yeah.
It is absolutely the worst thing. It is. It's ruined. It's ruining
everything.
Yeah, it's ruining
Everything.
social stature.
Again, no monoculture. It ruined entertainment. It ruined political discourse. It ruined relationships with people. I was talking to my friend. I was like, it's almost like this thing was one big psyop to get us all arguing. Because we've always not got along with certain stuff, but now it's just like the analogy, the comedic analogy I had was like, this is like asking a woman you're dating, which this is more when you're young. When you're older, you don't do this, but like it's like asking a woman how many people have you had sex with, or certain there's certain things we don't need to know about each other. Right. You know what I mean? Like certain things you can't unhear or you can't unsee, and that's partly what the internet has done. Certain stuff you just don't need to know. Right. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, and it's better that way.
Yeah, it's the same with your parents. You know how like you lionize your parents, but the older you get, the more people they become, which in a way is a good thing. But at the same time, you didn't need to know about the struggles your parents went through. I was lucky enough to where even though I grew up poor, my mother wasn't the type of parent that came home and told us about, oh, we might get kicked out, or you know what I mean? Like certain things you just don't need to hear. And I think it's on a level with that, with even discourse of how we deal with each other. We don't need to know all this. That's the other reason why it feels like the world's burning down all the time too. It's like the world has always been through shit, but you didn't always have the opportunity to look at your phone and know what's going on in Indonesia, right? Oh my God, there was just an 8.0. There was always an 8.0 earthquake, but now you get to hear about it, and somebody gets to stand in 6 feet of water and tell you how shitty. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's the human mind just wasn't made to deal with all this information all the time.
Right.
It's too much.
It's constant.
Yeah, it's like being drunk all the time. It's like, all right, I like to drink, but can we bring this down so we could actually?
Yeah, I can't drink no more. Well, I feel like at my age, you're probably might feel that way, but you're in Cleveland. But in Lorain is where I grew up at.
Yeah,
it's an international city.
Yeah,
and I did grow up in a project. So I mean, my neighbors were everything. I mean, literally everything.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just Lorain is the international city for a reason. I mean,
my friend Ramon Rivas is from here. He's half Mexican.
Yeah. I know his dad.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the international city. And I feel like racism was nothing at one point. It felt like it felt like something that just our parents had.
Well, because people dealt with each other. It felt like it was gone. Yeah, people dealt with each other. Yeah, it's hard to be anything when you deal with it. You know what I mean? It's hard to be a woman hater when you have women you love in your family. It's hard to be racist when your neighbors are different races. It's hard to be any of that when no matter what you're hearing on the outside, you could be like, well. Jim is that, and Jim is nothing like that. So what are you talking about? You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
It's hard to do that. It's one of the analogies I heard. It's like it's why road rage is so shitty. We're shitty in our cars because we can't exactly see each other.
Are you shitty in your car? I'm not that person.
I think that's another thing that comes.
My wife is.
I think that's another thing that comes with age. Like I was the slowest person on the freeway coming here. I used to be that young person darting through traffic and all that stuff, but like Louis C.K. had a joke about that. He was like, somebody would cut you off for a split second in traffic, and he was like, he was in his car, like, you worthless piece of shit. But he was like, if you were in an elevator and somebody accidentally stepped on your foot, you wouldn't turn to them like 6 inches away, like, you worthless piece of shit. And that's what the internet does. We don't see each other, so it's easier to lash out. But if you're face to face looking at somebody, it just you see the humanity in them.
Sure, yeah.
One of the first things that helped me get better with road rage, it's corny as fuck.
Is it that you see the humanity, or you don't want to get your ass beat?
Both.
Okay.
Both. It's a man-woman joke about that. This is why women get in fights in bars, but men don't as much, because men know it could lead to a physical fight. A woman will keep yelling because ain't nobody gonna hit her. So,
yeah, shut the fuck up.
The threat of getting punched in the face. But to that point, I was just having that conversation with somebody. Part of the reason people are so shitty now, because there's a generation. I don't condone violence, but there's a generation of men out here who have never been punched in the face. And you can always tell the guy that you meet that has never been in a fight. There is something to be said about a man who has never been in a fight.
I've got a buddy who's a preacher. He's a pastor, and we've done podcasts together. And he said, "We need more bullying." That's what he said. He goes, and I'm like, "What? What are you talking?" I mean, this is a Christian guy, good man, a guy. He goes, "No, we definitely need more bullying. Yeah, 100%. We need more bullying."
Chris Rock had a joke about that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, because he was talking about, like when growing up poor, you want a better life. And, he was talking about being in New York. So even though you're poor, being in New York, you're bussed around and you got to go to school with kids who actually are doing a lot better than you. So you're not just in a poor area. You get to see other people too. And he was like, growing up, you kind of hate rich kids because, they're everything you're not. They get all the cool stuff. They have great birthdays, great Christmases, blah, blah, blah. But you grow up, you don't want your kids to have to grow up like you did. So you give them a better life. But the paradox of that is now they're assholes because they're rich kids and they've never had to struggle for anything. Right. So it's kind of a paradox like that, to where this whole thing that you were trying to avoid and give them a better life, now they're living this situation where they don't know as much adversity. You know what I mean? Because pressure makes diamonds. You know what I mean? Like, and it's hard to walk that fine line of giving your kids I remember hearing this saying, you give them enough to do something but not enough to do nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Is it Tosh that's told a joke about Michael Jackson? You want to beat him just enough to get Thriller, but not so much that they touch kids.
Yeah. Somebody was talking about that with the NBA too. Like, one of the reasons the NBA sucks now too. And it was like, well, the problem is, like, your LeBrons and all these other people came because, they came from poor single mother households, Now LeBron's kids were raised in Beverly Hills with both parents. Of course his kids don't know how to play basketball. They don't have to. You know what I mean? Mike Tyson was in Brooklyn. Like all these great athletes.
Some of the greatest have come from very normal. Like Michael Jordan, he come from a great home.
Oh, no, I know. I mean, this is all for a comedic effect.
I get it. But there's a lot. It's something inside of you, and I don't think that's the nature over nurture type thing they talk about. Well, there's some people got that shit in them. It don't matter who they are.
But part of it with Jordan too, and if you've seen the interviews, you see him joke about that. Like, he talks about, like, his brother, and he's like, is everybody tall like you? He's like, no, I'm the only one. It's like we joked about the milkman because he was like, yeah, my brother's really good at basketball, but I'm the only one who's this big. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that it's some of that too. You know what I mean? Like, but definitely, the fine line of, because that's what in comedy what makes you funny. I mean, I wouldn't want my kids to grow up getting bullied and move into different areas and either dealing with poor shit or dealing with racial shit, but made me funny. I wouldn't want them.
My daughter, she's a social worker now, and she starts calling me when she first gets her first job. Yeah. And she's telling me what apartment she's over and how bad it is over there. And I'm like, I used to live there.
Yeah.
And they fixed it up a lot since then.
Oh my God. Yeah. Well, that's the other thing with generations. Like, I wanted to do a joke like that because the premise is you can't argue poverty generationally, and I put it through the lens of blackness, because I remember like me and my sisters and my cousins, we were sitting up, we were talking about how shitty it was growing up in the ghetto in Cleveland in the 80s and 90s.
I loved it, though.
Being on welfare and all this other stuff. But then we're doing this conversation in front of my mom and stepdad and aunts, and these are black people who came from the South in the 50s, and they're like, I don't want to hear about your fucking 80s stories. Yeah, my stepdad's like, dude, it was like, you thought you grew up, we didn't even eat meat every day. Like, my mother grew up on a farm in Alabama that didn't have plumbing. The whole reason we live in Cleveland is because it was segregated and you couldn't even go anywhere. So so generationally, everybody who like this generation struggle is, oh, we only had shitty Wi-Fi. You know what I mean? Like,
we didn't eat meat every day growing up right here.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't have that meat every day. It was a poor, but that were hillbillies.
Yeah, it was a luxury thing.
The down south and hillbilly people, it's all the same thing. I mean, it was a lot of
at best you put a piece of salt pork in beans or greens or something like that, and at best the adults get to eat the salt pork. But it's a generational thing. So every generation, there go the next one coming out, they're gonna think they're so aggrieved, like, oh my god,
I didn't mind like growing up when I was in the projects when I was a kid. I never minded it until like I got about 14 or 15, and then I'm just like, what the fuck is the matter with you guys? Get your shit together and get me in a house.
Well, and then social pressure, like getting teased by friends. Well, one of the things that I was lucky because even though it was shitty and we grew up poor, and again, this is something I didn't realize until I got to see everybody else. My mom had a good head on her shoulders, and we had a good household. So even though we didn't have money, it was one of those things to where you don't really realize it until you start seeing people with money, until you start knowing what money is. You know what I mean?
Right. Same with me.
So it wasn't. It was, you didn't really notice until you started seeing. And there were limitations, but like, you know, I mean, every kid has that. You know what I mean? But it was one of those things you don't notice until you get out there and you're like. Because I even remember when we did the move from living in a poor black area to when we moved somewhere that was nicer. And one of the things that was funny to me was the school was nicer and everything was nicer. But like, I remember I used to joke with my sister, like all those white kids dressed like bums. Like when we were in the hood, like this is the 90s. So
they would look like bums, but it'd be Jabot jeans, but they would look rough or AJs, and they would be all backward. Yeah.
Well, and it's a projection thing that you do. You don't realize you're doing it when you're poor, but the reason, you know, young black kids are wearing Jordans and all this because you don't want to be poor, you know. So you're projecting all this out, and these are a bunch of kids who live in the ghetto, and then you move to this affluent area, and then it's a bunch of kids with Birkenstocks and ripped off jeans, and it's because
in the 90s, all that Old Navy shit that was out there.
and grunge was around too, it fit the aesthetic. But it was just like they, you know, on a psychological level, you don't have a need to project your wealth. Right. You know what I mean? Like I might be dressed like this, but we grown to Disneyland and we got a summer home and Dad's got a boat, and you know what I mean? Right. But on the surface, you don't see that until you get older. You know what I mean? Because I'm walking around, I'm like, why are these kids dressed like this? You got all this money.
Like because of Lorraine, the way Lorraine was, you had the poor people like myself. Yeah. Like my mom was on welfare or whatever. And then the other ones that the rich people to us, pretty much to us were just Ford workers and steel workers. Yeah. Like they just had jobs. Yeah. That's who we thought were rich. Yeah. They just had jobs. That's all it was. Yeah. You know what I mean? And that's how it was. I didn't know the other people like that had those big mansions and stuff. That was just something else. I didn't know anything about them.
The people who us were rich were anybody in the suburbs. Because we used to like catch the bus to go to the mall, and every mall is in the suburbs. So anytime like you're just out at the mall and just people who had these, when you're just looking at all these, you know, picturesque lawns and houses and just all this, or like Halloween, the trick or treating, because I lived in Cleveland, but we lived close enough to University Circle to where if you walked there and then you walked up the hill, you were in Cleveland Heights. Yeah. So we would go trick-or-treating there, because if you trick-or-treat in Cleveland, you're either going to get chased or robbed or it was sweet tarts.
Shitty candy. Yeah, nobody wants
sweet tarts. Nobody wants sweet tarts. You go up the hill, Snickers, Reese's, and so we would call those, to quote, rich houses. Let's go to the rich houses. You might find a house who gives away full candy bars, like, you know what I mean. But in your mind as a kid, that's rich. Right. They're giving away chocolate. Right. Like, oh my God, candy bars.
I go to a different neighborhood to trick or treat right now. I do that, but that's only because we're it's. I'm not like out in the suburbs. Like I'm not in the development. I'm not. Like I don't have a big piece of property or nothing like that. Yeah. I'm on a dead end street, but there's like literally just our street. That's it. You know what I mean?
That's all they hop from house to house to house to house.
Right. It's just our street, and it would be like all the kids together. Like that. It's just that we have to go somewhere else.
Well, you got to have a strategy.
Yeah, you have to go. Yeah, and these kids are lazy now, though. They don't go like we used to. Like we could fill 2 pillowcases in 2 hours, maybe. When I was a kid.
And you were going forever, yeah. Now it's like I don't even remember it, but now they're like, okay, trick or treating from 6:30 to 7:30. We would just leave and come back when you were tired.
And it was daytime back then. Remember, we did daytime trick or treat.
Well, we did. We started like at 5 something, but we would just be out until like 9 or 10.
Oh no, Lorraine. In Lorraine, we had trick or treat at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Really?
Yeah.
We didn't have that in Cleveland.
Yeah, in Lorraine, we would go to Elyria to do nighttime trick or treat.
Oh yeah. Ours was night time. I took my girls out. The last time I went, it was like a couple years ago. I took my girls out, and at the time, I was living in Lakewood. I live in downtown Cleveland now, but you know, Lakewood's just west of Cleveland, suburb or like inner suburb. But I live in an apartment.
Second most gay populated city in the world.
It is.
It was, anyways. I don't know if that's still true.
It's not. It's not. But yeah, that used to be like a trivia on a game thing.
Yeah.
But where I lived, it was an apartment, but it was right next to like Lake Avenue in Clifton. So all these huge houses,
right next to the Blue Oyster.
And I don't even know what you're talking about. There are no oysters in Lake Erie. That's a zebra mussel they're sucking on.
When you look it up, that joke's gonna hit hard.
But my girls, they were like, we want to trick or treat over here because all the rich houses are over here, Daddy. And like, sure enough, we went up some of those side streets off of Lake Avenue, and they weren't used to like, you know, so I didn't realize how shy they were. Like, so I had to kind of walk. I was like, all right, you got to walk to the door. And then they're just staring at me. I'm like, you got to go. I can't, I'm too big to go up to these people's house. You go ask.
Right.
You know, but finally, like we did a couple streets and they had these just bags full of candy. We get back to my house to kind of do the counting. And then they're separating all this stuff. And I'm like, why are you separating it out? I don't like chocolate, Daddy. I'm like, oh my God. Like when I was a kid, that was like the Snickers and all that. That's what you wanted. They like all the candy. They like the Sour Patch Kids and the suckers, and you know what I mean? And then I ended up talking to them later. I'm like, what'd you guys do with your candy? We gave a lot of it to our friends. I was like, all right, that's good, I guess. But when we were out, it was just, we were like the Goonies. You're just on a mission.
Oh yeah, we were running.
Oh yeah.
You and your boys, you're just out doing your thing.
When you're
Amy Mahalovic hadn't been taken yet, so we were okay when I was a kid.
Yeah, our biggest thing was
I think Amy was probably your age, maybe.
I don't even remember hearing about her. It was some girl who got kidnapped.
Oh, in Bay Village, you never heard about that?
No.
Oh my God, it was like when I was like 11 or 12. They never found like her. Yeah, that was the first time I ever heard about.
The ones I remember was the ones who actually got found by that dude.
Oh, Castro.
Yeah. Because it was the Jesus and somebody else. But
Amanda Berry.
Yeah, yes. But I remember always seeing those things around and just.
Amy Mahalovic. They just posted a thing today. I think yesterday was the anniversary or something of when she disappeared. When I like 40-something years ago, or I don't know how long ago.
I don't like thinking about that.
A little kid,
but just while we're talking about it, like I wouldn't wish that, like the not knowing of that.
Horrible.
That is.
And then everybody thinks you did. Did you ever see the one the first kid on the milk carton? Did you ever see that?
No.
So the first kid on the milk carton, I think it's in Indiana, was where it happened. He was the first kid on the milk carton, and that kid was taken into he was taken. Yeah. And he was never killed. And she's seen him. And when she would tell people she's seen him, they said she was crazy.
Wow.
And it turns out that he actually was there, but everybody's just like, no, that's not what it is. You know, you miss your son.
Yeah, you're crazy.
But she actually seen her son.
That would drive me crazy.
I almost had that. I didn't almost have that. I shouldn't say that. My daughter, the one that's 31 right now.
Yeah.
We were living in a neighborhood where my daughter had never really went anywhere. She was probably like maybe, I don't know, 10, 11, I don't know. But she had a friend down the street, right down the street. And she was supposed to be at her friend's house, and it was time for her to come home. This was like, kids don't have cell phones yet.
Yeah.
And I walked down there, knock on the door. They said, she's not here. I'm like, she's not here? What do you mean she's not here?
Yeah, well, where the fuck is, yeah.
Yeah, where the fuck is she then? He
Yeah.
goes, she's not been here. And I'm like, this is the first time she ever lied to me. Her and her friend lied to me.
March just, yeah.
First time, dude, I wanted to stab him. I didn't believe him. I wanted to cut him. I wanted to stab him right in his throat.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I was standing at the door, like wanting to run past him and go look in his house.
Open the
like
fucking door. Where's my daughter?
Yeah. I did not believe him whatsoever. It took me like probably about 8 minutes to find her. She was there was like a cul-de-sac next to ours, and she was down there with, I don't know, there's some boy down there or something. And her and her friend were down there playing, and they wouldn't have been allowed.
Yeah.
But they lied to us, and that's what they did. But Did
you freak out on her? Was she like,
oh God, yeah. At that time I did. But I mean, 8 minutes, I can't imagine that feeling never went away.
Man.
I can't imagine.
Man.
That's crazy. That never went
8
away.
minutes was probably an eternity in itself.
It was.
You know what I mean?
It was. I went home. I went back. I'm like, dude, she said she was here.
Just that
He's like, dude, I told you
feeling.
she's not there. And I'm like, I wanted to go. I wanted to charge in his house. I really wanted to charge in his house. I did. But I'm like, keep your cool. But at the same time, it's like you're thinking to yourself, if I keep my cool, is this the time that I could have saved it and I didn't do what I did? I'm freaking the hell out. I don't know what to do. I could see how it could have got out of hand real fast. Like, literally, we found her, but I bet you within a couple minutes I was going in his house. I mean, kicking the door and whatever I had to do.
That would drive me crazy.
It was nuts. And I can't imagine that never had a good ending. I can't imagine that.
I remember this movie that fucked me up from when I was a kid that I still think about. Do you remember that made-for-TV movie named I Know My First Name is Steven? Do you remember that?
That's the boy. The first one that was disappeared from... That's the one. He's the first one that went on a milk carton.
Fucked me up. You know, he ultimately ended up dying. They ended up finding him and stuff like that, but he died in a car accident later.
Yes.
But oh my God,
he's the first boy to go on a milk carton. I'm getting
chill thinking about it. Chills thinking about it now. That fucking.
That was but when I was a kid, you thought that couldn't happen.
You're happy, you find your kid, and then you find out all this stuff that happened to him. It's, oh, God, as a father,
wild.
So, having an autistic son, 2 young girls, dude, like, yeah,
It's tough. And then you start thinking about it, especially with that. And autistic, that's like one of those things, too, that's hard, too, even when you find that out. Because then all of a sudden, you're like, to you, it's like, oh, man, he's not going to have like a normal life. But
and just be able to communicate. And to be able to communicate with him and stuff too. And it's one of those weird things too. Like I've always kind of been this, kind of just run my mouth person. So and then I grew up. My parents were divorced, and I knew my dad. We were cool and stuff, but divorced, so you didn't see him all the time. So you kind of have that longing for that type of relationship. So to have your first son, and now I got a son, and I get to do all this stuff that my dad couldn't do with me, and blah, blah, blah. Oh, by the way, your son can't talk, and this relationship with his mom is over, and blah, blah. It was just the biggest arrow.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? But after a while, you got to kind of find ways for that, too, because you don't want to project that onto them, and you don't want to have this feeling of sorrow around your kid, too, because that's the other thing you learn as a parent is, like, kids aren't this mold of clay for you to make this perfect human being. They're their own thing, and even outside of the autism and everything else, because I see that with my girls, the best thing you can do. One of the best sayings I ever heard was, "Kids don't do what you say do; they do what you do." So the best thing you could do is like lead by example, and then eventually, I mean, don't get me wrong, you have to discipline them and tell them what to do. We had different
parents. My parents said, "Do what I say, not what I do."
Oh yeah, no, this is advice I heard once I was grown. Yeah, trust me, we both came from the kids are to be seen, not heard generations. Yeah, but it's one of those things to where you do learn that you have to like kind of live by example, because you of course tell them what to do, but you could talk to you blue in the face. But if they're looking at living contradictions, if you're around doing whatever the fuck you want to do, not having any work ethic, and just doing all type of drugs and shit like that, how much talking are you going to really get across to this person to where they're looking at you like?
Well, especially with daughters, because it's like what kind of man is she going to accept in her life?
That's her template for a man. And the shitty thing is, it's not even on a conscious level. That's why women, even when they run away from their fathers, they end up with a guy like their dad.
Yeah.
Because you think you're running away from it, but you're running towards that because that's the only thing that your brain thinks that love is.
Right.
So you on a conscious level don't even know what you're doing.
No, they say that's that whole Freudian, but that whole Freudian thing is, I keep hearing that's bullshit too now. Have you heard about all this?
Well, yeah, because they were saying I was just reading about that, and they were saying some of the flaws with that. It's one of the reasons that therapy works with women, but not with men. Because the way women are wired, it's kind of that joke about how a woman just wants to tell you, how was your day? And she just wants you to, they don't want you to solve their problems. They just want to talk.
Right.
That's very cathartic for women, but studies are starting to show that that doesn't work for men. That's not how we're wired. And that's how Freud did a lot of his stuff, because the first people that he did his psychology on were women. So yeah, it worked, but it doesn't, because I had to tell that to my girl. Like, she would get mad that, like, she would find out certain things I'm dealing with a little later. And I was like, look, I'm not trying to keep anything from you. But if I tell you something about my day, it's not a form of catharsis for me. I'm reliving it. And not only am I reliving it, and it's hard to say this because she felt mad when I said this. It's hard to say this while sounding condescending, but I'm like, you can't do anything. You know what I mean? As a man, I was like, and this is condescending, but I was like, it's like telling my kids my problems. You know what I mean? Not only can you not do anything, but now you're burdened with it too.
Right. There's no reason to burden them. And that's what a man does. In all honesty, that's what a real man does.
Yeah.
Is he keeps his burdens and keeps them from the family and lets them enjoy their life.
And
that's
here's the
what
thing.
They should do.
On top of that,
it's a protection of sorts. Yeah.
And on top of that, they won't admit it to you because they don't realize that. But if you were the type of man to do that, they would slowly stop losing respect for you.
Yes.
Because they're not going to look at you as a man. And I'm not even talking on some caveman level, just again, on a psychological level, she's not going to be attracted to some at work and then my boss and then
Right.
You're just drying the pussy up. like it's just kind of how we're wired. And I had to tell my girl that. So I was like, my dad had passed and she didn't find out till a few days later, but I was like, I couldn't even say it out loud.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or like something I was dealing with work, and she's like, well, why didn't you tell me? And blah, blah, blah. I was just...
I got to take her side on your dad passing, though. That should have came immediately. I got to take her side.
I know, but like I said, it was like I literally didn't know how to even deal with it for 48 hours.
Just write it down.
My sister... I was at work bartending, and my sister had called me, and missed call, whatever. But you know how you get the missed call, and then immediately the text, call me.
Yeah.
Fuck. I didn't think it was this,
you knew it wasn't good.
My dad wasn't old, but he wasn't like, he wasn't young, but he wasn't like old. He was like 60s. So like, I went in the basement. That's where the bathroom is. And then she told me about it. And then, you don't immediately emote or something because it takes a minute for you to process stuff. And then I got to go back upstairs and bartend. And then you're like, hey, how you doing? Can I get you the blah, blah, blah? And then after a while, I was starting to get a little, and then people were like, you all right, John? And the last couple hours of work, I'm like, no, I'm fine. I had to write that out. Then I get home and it's late at night. And it just took a couple days to kind of, because I just didn't know how to articulate it.
You just had to you had to at least shoot that text to her. That's what you had to do. And that one, that's too big. That's different. That's not like, I ain't really got as much money to put down on this that I want. That's a little different. Like that's one of those like they need.
But
to
it's
know.
a once in a lifetime thing too. You know what I mean? I trust me. I'm not super defending it, but I didn't know how to deal with my feelings around it. You know what I mean?
Right. And you'll never have to again with that situation. I can't imagine. And I've got both my parents. I'm fortunate that way.
Yeah. It was wild. I remember the first time I broke down in front of her because of it, and it was after the funeral, and I was just like, because that's the thing, the finality of death. You know what I mean? And grieving, it's not this thing where it happens, you grieve, and then you start. It's in patches. It comes up, it goes down. It comes up, it goes down. You're okay, you're not okay. It's it's part of life. We all know it's gonna happen and stuff like that. And that's the other weird thing too. Like even being a comic, like there's certain things you'll laugh about and it'll feel morbid, but you're a human going through emotions.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So, and the way you process it is just wild. But yeah, it's hard.
Sometimes a good joke and laugh is the best way to process
dude.
anything.
Oh,
I mean,
that's ultimately why I remember hearing a comic say that. He was like, he was saying it in a religious sense, but he was saying that's why God gave us humor, is to be able to deal with life.
Yeah.
Can you imagine going through this thing and not having anything to give it levity?
I mean, I've been in some fucked up situations where somebody told me something or something went on, and I was like, I laughed, and I felt bad after the fact, but I didn't even know how to respond. It's just like, what the fuck, you know? And so I mean, I get that it could be that easy, and there's nothing wrong with. I mean, what was it? That's another Daniel Tosh. He said, you know, anything, you know, if you write a good joke about it, anything could be funny.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Anything.
Well, that's the thing that I hate when people, and this is more so my side, like left people who do this, when they're like, you know, you should only punch up, you shouldn't punch down when it comes to joke.
What do you mean when you say your side? What do you say your side?
Because I'm on the left side of the spectrum politically. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But everybody had, like I said, everybody has their problems with jokes. But I hear a lot of people on the left who will say, you know, you shouldn't. The term they say is punching down. You shouldn't punch down when you do jokes, so, which means you shouldn't talk about marginalized people and stuff like this. Which I understand that. You know, it's the old king versus the jester. The jester's supposed to talk shit about the king. He's not supposed to talk about the peasants because it just, you know, it's in poor taste. But the pushback that I always give to that is, and Bill Burr, he had a good explanation for this too. He was like, yeah, that might be all well and said, but somebody falling down will always be funny. So it's not ideal, but somebody falling down will always be funny. And it's not always about punching up versus punching down. And I always bring this up. One of the things that makes things funny in comedy is incongruity. And anytime you have incongruity, there's going to be comedy there.
Comedy is never going to be successful in a box.
Right.
It'll never happen. And it can't be in a box. You can't put it in a box.
Exactly. And one of the analogies too, it's a primal thing. I always say it's like sex too, because it's in a way to where you have to be respectful to people. You have to be respectful to women. But like, there's certain things you can do in a bedroom with a woman that you can't do on the outside of a bedroom. You can choke a woman in the bedroom. You can talk shit. You can spit. You can do all the weird, nasty shit. You can't do that walking down the street. And it's understood. And that should be understood with comedy. In comedy, we're in this room, we're doing this thing. We've all kind of agreed socially that we're going to play around, and then when this is over, it's over. But you can't do bedroom rules outside. You can't do comedy club rules outside either. And there's a difference in it too, because Don Rickles talked about this. Because some people be like, "Oh, you can't have a comic like Don Rickles anymore." But one of the genius things that Don
Rickles was hilarious. He was great. There was nothing wrong with his comedy.
Oh yeah, but one of the things that he brought up, he was like, one of the ways that he quote got away with a lot of his jokes that had that talked about race and all this other stuff. He was like, I didn't focus on one person. I talked about everybody.
And it was typically friends, like genuine friends.
But you get what I'm saying? On the outside looking in, somebody could be like,
Christy Capel. Remember Christy Capel said jigaboo music or whatever? And
no,
you never seen it? Dude, you got to go see that. You know who Christy Capel was, right?
I don't even know that name.
The news girl here, the real pretty girl, the news girl, the dark haired girl. She's on with Wayne Dawson on Fox 8.
I don't watch TV.
Well, but that's since you were a kid. She's been there forever.
I might know her.
Pre-internet, you know who she is.
I might know her.
But she made a reference to Lady Gaga.
Yeah,
and she said, I really don't like that like jigaboo music. That's what she said, live on air, dude.
Well, I will say, as a black person, that is very racially.
It is horrible.
That's very.
But she didn't know it. The intent wasn't there. And Wayne Dawson is like one of her closest friends. You know what I mean? But it's funny. If you get a chance, look it up on YouTube, because Wayne Dawson's sitting there going, yeah. But she got spanked for it, but they put her back on air because it was like she didn't know any better, and that was a good friend.
Well, I remember do you remember the Don Imus thing when he called the girl with the nappy headed hose? And he had got pushed back for that. And I remember D.L. Hughley, black comic, he was actually one of the black comics who came out. He wasn't so much defending him, but he was just saying, he was like, I've seen women's basketball. they do have nappy hair. But saying all this to say, I'm not here to defend like shitty comments that come from people. But like we were talking about earlier, you're not going to know where comedy is if you're not allowed to know where comedy is. And part of it is you can, quote, get away with stuff if people know that you're not trying to be malicious in your intent. That's the whole thing of it. If you're here purposely fucking with people or something like that, and then I heard another comedian say this: it's the democracy of laughter. Even if you're a shitty comic, you can only get away with it for so long just because after a while you're not going to be making people laugh. You know what I mean? So eventually that problem works itself out anyway. So when people go on all this comedy police, this person should do this. You know, there's some shitty people out here, but
funny's funny. I don't care. It don't matter.
Well, and again, just like with dating, eventually you'll either find the person you're for, or you'll have to acquiesce a little bit if you don't want to be that angry guy who doesn't have any women. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like the problem will work itself out. It doesn't have to be this thing.
But could you imagine an Eddie Murphy that couldn't talk about race?
Well, Raw.
If you just locked him in and said, but you can't talk about race.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not saying, and I can't think. I've seen Raw 20 times and Delirious at least 40.
Yeah.
But I really can't think how racial it is. But I do know that it wasn't.
Well, being a black comic is just going to come up. It's like being a fat comic. You're talking about.
You're
being
allowed
fat.
to do it. You're allowed to do it. We're not. That's just the way it is, and that's okay. I'm all right with that. I'm fine.
Well,
with
even
that.
if you're good at it, I've seen Louis C.K.
and Daniel Tosh
George
does it
Carlin, Daniel Tosh, and Bill Burr as white guys do some of the craziest racial jokes, but they work because they're funny.
Yeah, they pull it off. Yeah,
because they're funny. Yeah.
I agree.
So that's the thing. You just got to be funny at the end of the day, because that's the thing. And even back to men, women stuff. Like a lot of guys who try to, they call it the white diet, or you can't do this to women. The reason that women will get with like what people perceive to be the asshole or something like that is because nobody wants to be put on a pedestal. Nobody wants to. I have a good friend of mine. He's Korean, and he's a conservative guy, and I would hit him with some of my leftist shit sometime, and I'll never forget. He was like, "John, I don't need anybody else to feel sorry for me." You know what I mean? And when you do that to people, you're taking away their autonomy, their own agency as a human being.
Sure.
You can feel empathy for people and feel like there's a right and wrong of something, but you can't take a person's humanity out of the equation before they're even able to interact with the equation, if that makes sense.
No, I'm confused.
I'm just talking about as far as people being offended by jokes and saying that you shouldn't be able to say something before you say it.
Oh, I got you.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you can't take away people's agency of how they can react to the joke. Let people react how they're going to react, and then again, the democracy of laughter will make it.
Well, people love to be offended too. There's that. So that's you never know what's going to. I mean, you can't predict what's going to offend people because people love to be offended.
Dude, I have done comedy, and I've done like we were talking about autism, and I used to do this joke about my son, and it would usually go over well, but I never forget I did it at this one place, and this guy came up to me after the show, and he was like, "I liked all your comedy except the autism stuff." I was like, "I'm sorry." I was like, "What was wrong?" He was like, "Well, I got a grandson who's special needs, and I just don't like when people talk about that." And I was like, well, I can appreciate that. I'm not arguing against you, but I was like, just for the record, I was talking about my son. Like, I wasn't talking about, I didn't make a blanket statement about autism people
right.
or retarded or anything like that. I was going through autistic things. So just saying all that to say that you could talk about a million things, but as soon as something comes into somebody's wheelhouse, that's when they get super sensitive.
When people are sensitive about it or whatever. And you can't pick what's going to be sensitive to them and what's not, and you just, I don't know, you can't.
The best way around that is some of my best jokes. I call it a Trojan horse. Like you lead them in before they know where they're at, and then you hit them. And they're so far in it that they can't back themselves out of it. Those are the best jokes.
Your final, like that when you were on stage, that's when you really hit me.
Yeah.
You got me I won't give it away.
Oh, but the dog one?
Yeah.
That's exactly what the dog one is. Yeah.
That hit me so hard at the end.
Because
and I'm like, God damn, that was great. That was great.
Because I ain't going to give away the joke for everybody, but the one part that loses the audience is I always say, I hate dogs. And that audibly always gets a response, especially in front of a white audience, because white people love dogs. And then I go through the joke, and at the end, most people like the joke. But those are the best jokes, is when you can kind of Trojan horse it. And even if it's something that this person is diametrically opposed to, if you can still get them to laugh, those are the best jokes.
Well, and it's one of those, it's like a stereotype. It's like the stereotype as, I don't know that black people hate dogs, but stereotype is that they're afraid of dogs.
Yeah.
That's the stereotype. And that's where, that's funny. Stereotypes can be funny if you play into them the right way.
And because stereotypes come from a grain of truth. Like they don't come from nowhere.
Yeah,
I mean, we hate dogs. So fucking cops and slave catchers use German shepherds. Like, it doesn't come from nowhere.
My house I live in right now was a rental, and the first tenants I rented it to was a black couple.
Yeah.
And they came over to the house to sign a lease, and I had a cockapoo. It was like this big. They were scared to death of it. I'm like, what are you afraid of? What are you kidding me? Like, how can you be afraid of this thing?
We run from squirrels. I'm sure you've seen that. Like, we don't fuck with animals.
Birds. Birds freak me out.
Yeah, really?
Everybody makes fun of me because birds freak me the fuck out. I don't like it.
I'm not bothered by birds, but my mom was like that because that was an old school thing of birds gets in the house. It's ominous for death and all this other shit. So I think that happened like once, and she lost her shit. you would think an actual ghost was in the house.
Me too. I'm the same way, dude. I hate it. I used to cut grass with this place when I was like 18. I was like cut grass at it's a big farm field.
Yeah.
And they had those barn swallows that would swap. Oh my God. It was living a nightmare every time I had to go there to do it. I was like, this is miserable. Like I'm like
that with bees and shit like that. I think maybe on a psychological level, as us being humans, to deal with something that's that much smaller than us, that doesn't care about us, that's still somewhat aggressive towards us, that's on a psychological level, it's like, well, why is this thing so? And then like, as far as bees, it could actually sting you. Like, I
don't know about those. Man, we've been on 3 hours already.
Oh shit!
Holy crap!
My bladder can't. Oh, I got to get the car back. Oh, I got to get back because I got a show. I got to get back. Ooh,
all right.
Shit. I didn't know it was this late.
I really appreciated having you here. This was awesome.
Dude, thank you for having me.
It was great. It was anytime you want, if you get something that you want to promote and you want to get on, we can, and at any given time. And I can always do remote if you ever need to, like a little like Riverside if you can't run out.
Oh,
you just
want
to promote something.
Yeah, I'd love to. Thanks for the opportunity, man.
Yeah, this was great. This was awesome.
Thank you so much.
Fun, and I like having a comic that actually laughs. Well, actually, no, that makes me laugh in studio.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That was pretty fun.
Yeah.
All right, we're getting out of here, everybody. Peace. I got that app somewhere. I haven't messed with it yet, though.
I gotta go home just to come back out here.
That is right.